Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, it's another Infinity Saga Sunday. We are joined here by the Hat Crew, and we're still waiting on one, but she'll get here when she gets here. So, starting from, well, there, my left, her right, or the screen's right, we got the real Lady Thor, Riot Kitty. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good.
All
Pretty good
right.
day today. Happy
Then
Father's Day, everybody.
Yep. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, both with us and not with us. Hey, Ambassador, how you doing?
I'm super. Thank you for asking.
And Nerd with the Cigar, Kate, how you doing?
Hello, how are you? Good to be here.
Goody goody. And we got one person in the chat, or at least one person watching right now. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1. The A-holes who learn to give a shit, as I like to put it. Did we all watch it? Is it all
Yes.
fresh in our minds?
Super
Yes.
fresh.
Excellent.
It's
So
fresh
yeah,
as
when
fresh as Star Lord hating on Gamora.
there you go. When I went to see this movie in theaters, I brought my friend, who at the time I did not know what was going on in the beginning of this film. My friend's he's like a brother to me. His mom passed away from cancer. So I go into this theater. We're gonna have a great time. This fucking scene opens with Peter Quill's mom dying of cancer,
Yep.
and I'm like, "Oh my fucking god!" I felt so. I am like, "Oh dear." When we got out of the theaters, I am like, "Dude, I am so freaking sorry." He's like, "Oh no, it's no problem, man. It was, or you couldn't have known." I'm like, "True, but holy shit." So yeah, and let's say hello to the chat because we do got a person there. Hello to Vanya.
Hello.
Good to see you, Vanya. One of my loyals. So yeah, the scene with Peter's mom and how he won't take her hand. It's not, or is it shame or is it heartbreak? Is it all of that? Is it just a rumbling of all different emotions? What were your guys' take on the scene, or on the scene where before Quill gets abducted? Because yes, he does run out of there and then get abducted. We'll start with Riot. How did you, or what was your thoughts on that scene?
Well, so not when it first came out, but now like retroactively, like with that experience in mind, not from cancer, but from something else, it is extremely hard for people to see their loved ones slowly die in front of them. Because you remember when they were healthy and alive, and like you know that this isn't like this is probably the end, but you kind of try and keep calm even though there's like probably a bunch of emotions like raging inside you. And with like Peter, like I don't know, I think he might be like this young Peter, I think he might be like 8 to 10 years old probably. Like he probably almost feels like a bit of maybe like a bit of anger, like, you know, why is this happening to my mom? Why can't it be anybody else? Or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's probably why he wouldn't take her hand, because it's almost like a bit of anger, like she's gonna die and I can't do anything. So that's my take on that scene, honestly.
All right, Ambassador.
Well, being someone who has experienced in real life the death of a parent, granted the circumstances were different, I think Peter's reaction is one extreme pain, and he doesn't want to accept the fact that this is the last time he will see his mother potentially alive. We don't realize that she is moments away from succumbing to cancer. Although we find out why she has cancer, and that's what makes it hurt even worse. But
Yeah.
Peter's reaction, I think, young Peter's reaction is very authentic, and it, I have to say this, and if I ruffle feathers, I ruffle feathers. I'm really tired of people saying that James Gunn cannot do hard, heavy moments in film. The man can. He is capable of it as a director and a writer. And I think this is one of the better scenes that he has done. Granted, we've still not had a chance to see Guardians Volume 3, but that's a discussion for another time. This scene is an example of where James Gunn can really strive and do well in doing hard-hitting, emotional moments. And you have a father / grandfather watching his daughter die. You have family and friends there, and we were watching this last night, me and Madam Ambassador, and she asked the question, and it's a very valid one. Why in the world would the grandfather push Peter out of the room as his mother is dying instead of keeping him close with family and friends around him rather than just leaving him alone? And that's a darn good question.
He was starting to. He was basically creating a scene. After she passed, he started freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they wanted to get him
basically
out of that situation. That's one of the more instinctive things to do.
Yeah, but at the same time, he should have had somebody else stay with Peter rather than just leaving him there by himself. But at the same time, I can understand the father / grandfather panicking.
Yeah, or like, maybe
he's in his own grief as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And
honestly, I get that, but at the same time, it's a very minor nitpick, but
like I guess like maybe it's kind of like, it's just like maybe just like, okay, get out of the room, you gotta cool off, get some air, revisit this, right? Like a timeout basically on this, like, even though yes, it's a very stressful moment for probably both of them. So
yeah.
And Kate, sorry, Ambassador, finish up. Sorry.
One last thing. I will say this: the makeup for Peter's mother was actually, I think, very accurate for somebody who was succumbing to the type of cancer that she was dealing with. It was essentially brain cancer, if I remember correctly. That's what Ego says to Peter and everything.
Put that tumor in her brain.
Yeah, it was essentially brain cancer. So kudos to the makeup people and the prosthetic people for the work they did on the actress. Okay, I'm done.
All right, nerd. Kate?
I will say I've had that experience of having a loved one sick in a hospital, not dying of cancer, but and I did the opposite. I ran to them and held their hand. But I think Ambassador's right when he hits those emotional notes, you don't realize how significant him not taking her hand is until the end of the movie. And I know we'll get there, but at the first time I watched it, I was like, take her hand, this might be the last time, and then you watch the movie all the way through and you're like, oh, okay, he's able to redeem himself in that moment. And yeah, I think James Gunn does a really good job of just making this an emotional scene, and then he does a good job of not keeping the audience in sad. He makes it lighthearted as well, and I think that's why the funny scenes hit funny, and the sad, emotional, or just emotional in general, not necessarily sad scenes hit, because I don't know about you guys, but toward the end of the movie, I was like tearing up.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
As much as I rag on James Gunn, how I am not approving of his lifestyle, shall we say, he can direct a movie. He is a
For sure.
good director. I will give him that. And Andrew Coates, good to see you. Or Coatesworth, good to see you. I feel that life doesn't prepare you for losing a loved one. It's just one of those wounds that you learn to deal with as it comes and fades. I agree to a point there. I've had family that I knew were on their they were on their final moments. I knew that, or I was semi prepared. However, to give a good example, my aunt, who was my godmother, she passed last year in March or early March or late February, early March, and I knew she was dying. However, you're right. Life doesn't prepare you for it, because I was one of the last people to freaking learn about it, even though my siblings fucking found out very quickly. And it's like that, it is a punch in the gut. It is because I was over in my kitchen, right off screen over there, when I got texted by a friend of the family, and they did not know that I hadn't known, because I asked, "How's my aunt doing? Is there any news?" And they're like, "Oh my God, you haven't been told." And I'm like, really? I fucking learned from a friend of the family instead of family? But yeah, this sort of thing it hurts when it comes to loss of family and whatnot. So yeah, when he runs out of there, and when the ship's lights come on around him, as well as the tractor beam, so to speak, where he screams "Mom," it's like, oh my God, it's not too far off from what I would have done in that sort of case. You're screaming for the one person that you want the most when something weird's happening to you. But then we get to the main opening of the film, and which is the
You are
arrival on
roboting out. Okay. All right. There we go.
Is
Yeah,
it my
sorry
internet
about
or
that.
yours? My bad.
No, that was mine. That's mine. I have the weak little internet signal here because everybody else is using it too. But yeah, we see Quill. He's grown into a man, and he's kicking animals around, sliding.
Oh boy. Sounds like an alien spaceship.
Wah, 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 is what I hear.
Singing
Yeah.
a song. Sorry about that. Jesus freaking Christ. Think about this.
Language.
Blasphemy. Yeah. That should allow a little bit more strength to my internet now that I put off my phone's internet.
Getting the juice. Get that juice.
Yeah. Just reallocation of resources. And you know what? I honestly don't need the other window open, so I could just open up the thing on my phone, use a little data because it's actually off line. I'll open the doc on my phone. Ha ha ha. My talking points are on Google Docs, folks. Google Docs is a good thing to use for streams. So, come and get your love with hold on, this thing hasn't been updated.
Can I just say, like, even though, like, yeah, it's like basically like kind of like a jukebox musical, but with just like the soundtrack thing in the background instead of characters singing mostly. Like I think I like I like the song choices a lot.
Oh yeah,
Very,
70s,
very
80s,
funny.
or 70s, 80s.
Well, let's be honest here. James Gunn, especially with the first two Guardians movies, he, and I'll say this to a degree, the Russo brothers with Civil War, especially the introduction of Peter, uh, James Gunn really introduced the younger generation to a lot of great older music that we all either grew up with as kids or as teenagers or whatever. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2, the soundtracks have to be two of the most high selling soundtracks for the MCU. I don't know how well the Volume 3 has done, but I imagine it's done very well. I mean, you think about it. Come and Get Your Love and Mr. Blue Sky from Volume 2, the opening, that whole intro, both intros went viral. Absolutely positively viral. And it was so cool because I had never heard Mr. Blue Sky ever once in my life. And I was like, holy freaking crap. When we went to see this in theaters, it was amazing. Now, here's the funny thing. I never saw Volume 1 in theaters. I actually saw Volume 1 at my bachelor party, because we watched it before we went to see the movie we're going to do next week, Age of Ultron. And I was laughing my head off. I was there with a bunch of my buddies from college, and we were sitting there in my best man's uh, uh, dorm apartment, and we were just having a blast. I was like, why didn't I see this in theaters? Because it was hysterical. It was hilarious. I loved it. I was like, I wish I'd seen this in theaters.
I will second that because I remember being excited about Age of Ultron because I think they had already announced it, and I was like, well, none of these characters are in Age of Ultron, so what's the point of watching this movie? And then my friend was like, you got to see it, so we ended up just watching it after it came out on DVD. And I was like, man, I really missed out seeing this in theaters because this is funny. And it was a totally different tone than any of the previous Marvel movies. Like, it was joking around, it was fun, um, and it introduced these characters in a fun way that, you know, I was used to like the old school Guardians with like Yondu as the leader, and they introduced this whole new cast, and I was like, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
Here's
And
the amazing. Sorry,
go
Rich,
ahead.
go ahead. Okay. The thing is, Marvel Studios put this movie in August because they thought it wasn't going to perform. And it had word of mouth and it had legs out the yin yang. And it really established. I mean, James Gunn had done done some decent movies before this, but this really put James Gunn's name up there as a director and a writer who knew how to do comedic and emotional storytelling. And
Yeah.
granted, his leanings is more towards comedic, but he can do emotional stuff as well. But this proved that a movie in August didn't have to die, and it actually incentivized other studios to go, okay, let's see if we can do the same thing that Marvel just did with Guardians, because Guardians of the Galaxy was a very low rung.
Hey, Ambassador?
I don't know. We lost him.
I'm still here.
He
My
faded into
Okay.
my
oblivion.
blue
Yeah, you
my
kind of
Bluetooth
just.
decided.
Yeah. I just
Okay.
decided to cut
Alright.
you off there.
Yeah,
It's like, is
decided
it
to cut
my
me off.
internet or is it his?
It's mine. Well, it isn't my internet. It's just my Bluetooth. I'm on my iPad right now. But as I was saying, Guardians was the first semi-mainstream film to do well in August. Before
Yeah.
this, August was the month that studios sent movies to die in. Guardians
Yep.
was the first one to really succeed. And there's been other ones that have come out since then that have succeeded in August, but Guardians was the first one to do it.
Yeah. And one of the things I liked about this scene was the gadgets. I really do like the gadgets that he uses.
Oh,
Uh,
the mask and the
the
boots. Yep.
yeah, because the mask is kind of like nanotech, which we
Yes, it
see
is.
much more prevalent later on.
Which I was okay with. I love the nanotech masks because they have a cool effect.
Is it my internet this time, or is it yours? That's kind of
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
because you're skipping in and out there, Ambassador. You're skipping in
I
and
can
out,
I
but
can
am I
hear
skipping
him.
in and out too as well, folks? Or
Nope, I can
which
hear
one
you
can you
just
hear?
fine. I can hear both of you actually.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
same.
Maybe it's just on your end.
All right, sorry about that. But if my internet starts crapping out, folks, I'm sorry about that.
Let me do
But
it.
yeah, the nanotech, the magnet thing that draws the orb out of that
Oh yeah.
field,
Mm-hmm.
and then Korgath played pretty well by Jaimin Hansu for the longest time, folks. I'm not gonna lie. For the longest time, I did not know how to properly pronounce his name. I always called him Digimon. I always called him Digimon.
Digital monsters.
Digimon.
Yep, I always called him Digimon. Digimon Hansao.
Hansu.
So I eventually looked it up, and it's like Jaimin Hansu, and it's like, oh, well, okay, there you go. We got another one from Coates here. Guardians 3 hits hard with Rocket's backstory. Love it. Got that maniacal master overlord playing God with gene manipulation. The High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary actually is a pretty decent bad guy that I know of in Marvel. He loves to tinker. Let's just say that. Did you like the biomechanical Argocorp? I never saw Guardians Volume 3. I have checked out of Marvel after Endgame. But
I want to go see it myself. I really do. I liked 1, I liked 2, and I'm
Same.
like, you know what? I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it.
Yeah.
Like, even though
Same.
I've kind of checked out of MCU, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna see that one.
I'm probably going to check it out eventually. I mean, when it gets to Disney Plus, I might look it up. But until then, I'm willing to just let it lie because honestly, there's stuff that I thought that was completely unnecessary, and there's stuff that I want to see how they handle Adam Warlock. I heard he's not handled well. And Adam
Yeah, I
Warlock
heard
is
the same.
literally one of the strongest beings in Marvel. He can literally rewrite a galaxy.
I will say
I've
this
heard
about Adam
he's not
Warlock.
good.
I feel like they cast the wrong actor for him because he looks too baby faced. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to whoever the actor is. I'm like, you look too
I mean-
baby faced. You look adorable. Like,
Oh my god, I just realized I should have brought up the skins because last week I brought up the profiles for Civil or for Winter Soldier, and I didn't do that for
And you offended Riot Kitty. She ran away. You scared the kitty away.
Guardians of the Galaxy yet. Oh shit! How the heck did she get out?
I'm sorry.
You back, right?
I was trying to click to another tab and I accidentally refreshed the window, which keeps you out of StreamYard. So that's great.
In the press.
Can I just
Like,
say, Boomer, and I'm older than you, Boomer.
Riot Boomer.
Riot.
Riot has officially had a boomer moment.
No.
It's
No,
okay. We'll
she
forgive
will now
you,
forever-
Riot.
She will now and forever be known as Riot Boomer or Kitty Boomer. Take your pick.
Kitty Boomer. I like
Kitty
that.
Boomer.
Kitty Boomer. Boomer
Kitty
Kitty.
Boomer.
That sounds like a type of underwear.
Uh-oh.
Kitty Boomer.
Anyway.
What type of underwear does Rocket Raccoon wear? Kitty Boomers. What type
Boomers.
of what kind of underwear does Gamora wear? No boomers.
This joke is gonna keep landing. I can tell.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's a dad joke, right?
Well, it is Father's Day,
Yeah, that
It
is
is.
suitable.
and I am the oldest one here.
Let's see here. Keep going, guys. Keep talking about the movie. Or Ravagers versus Ronin's Men.
Okay.
While I get these things set up.
I think the first two scenes of the movie did a really good job of kind of setting the tone of what it's going to be, because you get this really sad, emotional, moment with his mom, and then it's like, bloop, bloop, bloop. All right, he's taken up in a ship, and then fast forward, and we get this really fun opening, and you're like, okay, this is going to be the tone of the movie. Gotcha, and so. I think it does a really good job, like those two scenes in that order in the beginning, kind of just set you up for, okay, here's what to expect. This dichotomy of fun and also, emotional, which again, I think really hits at the end of the movie with Groot saving everybody.
Oh, don't get me started on that scene. Okay, one thing I want to ask. Do you think Peter, because they start in 1988 on Earth, do you think Peter went to see Raiders of the Lost Ark? That's why he checked the floor before he started walking towards the chamber with the orb?
Because he would have, he probably would have understood that reference for sure.
He mentions it.
Did he really?
He mentions Raiders of the Lost Ark, I believe, in the movie.
I think it was
must have
like
missed
about
that
the
reference.
faces melting or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's possible.
Very good.
Hello,
Hello, Mrs. Martin Muses. Welcome.
Hey,
Teresa, always a pleasure.
hey, Martin. Long time no see. We're talking about?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Volume 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I one piece of tech that I really liked was a holographic past projector time machine Pathfinder thingy. That's what I'm calling it.
Yeah,
Because
the
it shows
past projector works.
Yeah, the past projector, that thing was nifty as hell. Not to mention, it actually shows the path where the temple is, but it shows like holographic past projections of people.
Yep.
I always wondered, how the hell does that work? I mean, does it detect like where people were walking and who exactly was walking? Or
I feel like it is like a movement based thing, right? Like it detects
that's my
shifts in
thinking.
like the earth or something. Like that kind of reminds me of like the Batman Arkham games with like the detective mode or whatever. I think it was like Arkham Knight specifically too that really delved deep into that, where it's like holographic people or whatever. So,
well, not to mention, the last thing that Peter sees is a little kid playing with their dog. It actually looks like a dog from Earth. How weird is that? That a planet that far off in the galaxy has dogs exactly like ours.
someone like abducted a dog and then they mated it with other dogs and populated their Earth with dogs.
Yeah, maybe Yondu, before he started like stealing kids away, he was like, these dog things are awesome. Let me grab one of these. Because that's what I would
like
do if I were an
smuggling
alien.
Yeah, like
If I were an
smuggling
alien-
animals throughout the galaxy from other
For
planets.
sure. Yeah. Like, cause if I were like, a raider and just came to Earth and met a dog and I wasn't from here, I'd be like, bro, we got to get some of these where we're at. Like,
Yeah.
That's possible.
I like to think if there are aliens out there, like they really like
There
dogs.
are aliens, right? There is no if.
Oh,
Aliens
man.
exist.
And that's a religious person telling you that.
I just need to see it to believe it. That's all. I need to look at
Take
an
it from
alien.
somebody who's seen 3 different alien events. They are out there.
Look, even as a Christian, especially as a Catholic, am I naive to think that we are the only intelligent life in the entire universe? No, I am not that naive. Yes, the Almighty created other life besides us, but He just made us first. Probably.
You know, it's a funny conversation because it's like it's either it's 50-50. There either are or there aren't. So we're either alone in the galaxy, and that's a terrifying thought, or we're not alone, and that's also a terrifying thought. You know what I mean? It's just like flip a coin kind of deal. Like there isn't a third option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, not to mention, you look at this movie. Peter gets taken in that ship, and he meets this guy with blue skin and red eyes and pointy teeth, and he's like, "Are you gonna eat me?"
These boys wanted to eat you. They never tasted no turd before.
Yeah, and Peter finally throws it back in his face. He's like, "Dude,
Yeah, I
so
know,
you
right?
He's like, just because you saved me from your crew not trying to eat me doesn't mean I owe you something. He's like, most people don't want to eat other people unless they're just a bunch of weirdos or bloodthirsty cannibalistic aliens.
I like how like the Ravagers are basically kind of like a bunch of rednecks.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Essentially,
Space rednecks,
Okay.
yeah.
Rednecks of the galaxy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
space rednecks.
Okay, not just space rednecks, but space redneck pirates that sometimes do nobly good things.
Please tell me Nebula.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
And can I just say,
Anti-hero pirate rednecks.
yes, they're here because they will kill, but they'll kill when it's necessary. Which is exactly what a hero is, an anti-hero, because heroes like your Star-Spangled Man with the Plan generally will not kill. But anti-heroes will kill.
Anti-heroes have no compunctions about it.
No. If there's a person getting ready to kill a kid, they're going to kill that person so that other person can't kill the kid.
Or eat
Whereas
a kid.
That too. But, you know, and okay, one other thing, and this is honestly the first time we ever see any type of iconography, and we only see it for like a split second. And it's on the floor of the temple where the orb is at. We see the 4 cosmic entities around the 6 Infinity Stones. And
Yep.
I which is eternity, infinity, death, and I think it's entropy, which is the 4 cosmic beings that essentially created the universe.
Nice.
And here's the funny thing. I learned this not too long ago. James Gunn came up with the entire origin for the existence of the Marvel Universe in a bathroom in like 5 to 10 minutes, and then gave the lines of dialogue to Benicio del Toro as the collector. And can we just say, we need more Benicio del Toro in the MCU even now. We need more of the collector. Unless he's
a
dead.
funny guy.
Unless he's dead. If Thanos killed him in Infinity War, well then crap.
Oh, he very much killed him because
Yeah,
he
he's
had to
totally-
create a fake version of him.
Yeah.
So
Which
nowhere was
Which
wasted.
sucks.
Yeah.
So this is the Star-Lord thing here that I got up. That's actually a pretty good likeness if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you who don't know, let me pull up or get the main thing up there. God dang it. This is Star-Lord's comic look.
Yep.
Let me tell you, that helmet is not, or would piss off a lot of people.
It's a little
It looks like the Nova Corps outfits in the movie.
Well, they actually do use the badge. But yeah, that's Star-Lord from the movie. This is Star-Lord from the comics. And I'm not kidding, folks. That helmet is very German 1940s-ish.
Yeah, the whole uniform kind of is, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Here's
honestly,
Drax
the
from the
helmet-
comics.
Yeah.
And here's Drax from the movie. Well, their version in the game that I played.
Well,
Honestly, I like the
he used to
redesign
have
for
like a
Drax.
purple cape and stuff, so
Yeah, and he was very dumb.
Yeah.
And
Gamora.
Gamora was very much a bombshell because, well, you've seen Gamora. We've seen Gamora in the comics. Look at her there. She was dressed
yeah,
a lot.
she looks really pretty.
Well, but I think her costume was actually better in the movie because it was a lot more modest, at least to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, folks.
I think I like the big flowing hair, though. I gotta admit, I like that hairdo better.
That body is, well, Jesus. Zoom out.
Oh
I
my
like how you
goodness, you can
zoom like
grind
a
meat
really
on those.
specific way.
That
But
was
comics
completely
always have their
unintentional.
ladies looking like that, though. Like, you know
Yes.
what I mean? That's just.
Well, back
And
in
you
the
can't
80s
have
and
Zoe
back in the 80s and
Saldana doing
90s.
all the. Yeah, for sure. You can't have Zoe
Yeah,
Saldana doing all the action stuff that she wanted to do wearing
And all the
something
other
Yeah,
like
that could very easily, like, if you had that costume, something could very easily slip and then expose something that should not be
Very
exposed.
much. Very much.
So I can see why they did like the change with like the leather jacket is like, I mean, like the leather like vest thing and the boots and pants. So,
I do like
but you know,
these
she
cyber
still looks
stories.
good. So
Yeah. This is her
And I
from the
lo-
movie, folks.
And I love her nano sword.
Yeah,
I
the
do. I
nano
love
sword.
her. Yeah.
Groot from the comics.
I am Groot.
he looks really scary.
Groot
He looks
from
like that
the
tree. He
movie.
looks like that big tree guy. Like I don't remember what his name was, but it's like a little
Big
boy's
tree
mom
guy, you uncultured swine. His name is Treebeard.
that.
No,
Don't
I'm
we
trying to
see
think of
these
this
in
movie. It looks like
these uniforms pop up in Guardians 3? I haven't seen it, but they look familiar in
Yeah.
the trailer. So they
Yeah.
do have a nod to those in Guardians
Mhm.
3. That particular.
Yeah, they do.
We got Nebula.
Yep.
She's looking at different, or one of the things you can notice, folks, if the person is looking to the left, it's a villain. If they're looking to the right, it's a hero.
Huh.
Yeah, always.
So yeah, here's our trigger happy rocket from the comics. Look how he looks absolutely freaking
Badass.
yeah.
But
And
also
here's
he
a
looks
girl.
evil. He looks like a gremlin.
oh right. And here's
The
his movie
red eye.
version.
He does
or
not
the
look
movie
like a
skin.
gremlin.
Well, yeah, like the gremlin, like when they mold
He
off,
has
and they
red
got like the red
freaking
eyes, and
eyes.
like the pointy teeth, and like that freaked up like ears.
He does
like,
not look like Gizmo. Gizmo never looked evil.
No,
Oh,
I
quit
mean
being
like
such
I
a-
mean the evil gremlins, like like when they like shed the fluffy skin and they're like the little green and stuff, like with like the red
Yeah, but
eyes.
he-
and
Mischievous, let's
pointy
just say
teeth.
that. And here's
I
Well, he
kinda
gives
the-
off that vibe.
I like the redesign. I like the movie design of Rocket. Oh hey,
Yeah, that's very good.
It's the a-hole. Oh,
Yeah,
look
here's
at
Ronan.
me.
Now,
I
in the
hate this
game,
guy.
he's both. Or there's two things of him, two portrait drawings of him. One where he looks left, signifying he's the villain in the game that I used to play, and there's one of him, which I'm showing, looking right because he does become a playable character. But these are the different ones. We'll stick to Star-Lord. So yeah, he's like, you might know me, or what's your name? Peter Quill. But you might know me from another name, Star-Lord.
Ooh.
It's like Star-Lord.
I love
All
that
the
joke.
memes from that. Oh my gosh, it's perfect.
It's like Ninja Turtle. You freaking hit me one more time. Those paper guys.
Sakarans,
Mhm.
which we actually eventually see Sakar in Ragnarok.
Right. Oh my god, I just put that together too. It's like, wait, Sakarans. Because it's like, I was thinking about that while I was watching the movie. What Sakar? Son of a bitch! And it's like,
I consider Sakarans paper people.
mhm.
And he's not wrong.
Yeah, Drax.
Because you see how easily Yondu's arrow goes through all those Sakaran soldiers during the
Yeah, like a
battle.
knife through butter.
Oh,
But so
or
he ends up,
arrow through paper.
yeah, he ends up busting out with Barit, that pink Creed chick thing.
I don't think she wasn't Kree. I think she was Zandaran.
Or Zandarin.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, Barit.
I,
Yeah, Barit. I didn't even know. I'm sorry, I forgot you were even here.
I forgot you were here."
And she's like, "You son." And then freaking Yondu, Peter, you got to call. No. And it's Yondu, and she actually grins at him. I really like that.
Yeah.
Now, when Yondu actually says they ain't tasted no Terran before, and he's like, "These boys wanted to eat you," and he's like, "Yeah." The way that he says, "Yeah," it's like he's heard that a million times.
Yep.
Because it's like, and it's just so freaking funny. So, well, he hangs up on Yondu, and there's a bounty on him. So we then get to
40,000 units.
Yeah. And
40,000 units.
These guys wanted all the freaking. He's like, "You should have just allowed him." He's like, and he pulls back his coat, revealing the arrow. Now you don't know what's about that arrow yet until later, and it's like, I want it. I want that arrow.
I'm sure
I really
you can get
do.
a replica of it.
No, I want how he does it and to do it and whatnot.
Oh.
I want the mohawk. I want the arrow. I want to be able to whistle and slaughter.
With
Not
you,
really.
that's a scary idea.
I know. But anyway, so we get the Xandar, and we're also learning about a peace treaty between the Kree and the Xandarians. Or before we get to Xandar, we actually get to Ronan's ship, I do believe. The introduction to Ronan.
Aster. I love
the
that
Dark
ship.
Aster.
I love that.
And how they powder him up, put him in his garb. Let's get the Ronan here. And they don't show the impact of him killing the guy, but you could they sell the impact very well when he brings his hammer down on the dude. It's like, oh crap, that dude just seriously brought that sucker down.
He did bring the hammer down.
He did bring the hammer down, folks. By the way, bring the hammer down on that like if you feel so inclined. Could always use some more support and watch time.
Who had the better hammer? Thor or Ronan?
Thor. Well, one had an Infinity Stone, so just gonna say.
Yeah, but he didn't have the Infinity Stone for very long, so I'm gonna say Thor.
Yeah.
Not to mention he had 2 hammers.
Yeah. So
I was excited when they introduced him because I was like, "Oh man, now we're gonna get the Kree Skrull War," and well, we still haven't seen that yet, but I was like, "Okay, if we're getting
the
him,
aftermath of it, basically because of Captain Marvel, it really or the 90s was the end of the Kree Skrull War. It's like, really, fucking really. This is one of the biggest galactic events in the comics.
Right,
but gloss over it.
Right, for sure. But when they introduced this character, I was still like, "Oh, sweet,
they have Secret Invasion coming out, so we're gonna get it now, I guess."
No, they got Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is the
different one.
Scrolls.
It's the Scrolls, but the Kree Skrull War is is before.
Well, I want to know if they're bringing in the Uber Skrull or the Super Skrull.
Ultra Super Saiyan Skrull.
No, he's a Super Skrull because he has all the powers of the Fantastic Four.
Super Fantastic
Skrull. Then they won't bring him in until they do the Fantastic Four, so...
Are they going to do the Fantastic Four again?
They're trying to. I mean, they said Adam Driver's going to be fucking Reed Richards.
What's wrong with that?
Adam Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver.
Okay, if he gets the right haircut, yes.
Give him the right haircut. Give him the right acting
touch
job.
Of gray.
Give him the right direction. He is a brilliant freaking actor.
For sure.
Not to mention you've got Margot Robbie as Sue Storm. I think that's a good casting.
Wait, did they? No.
Did they actually announce
Margot Robbie?
From what I understand.
Isn't that a rumor?
God, that woman is not good.
Yikes.
She can be when she's given good
They
direction.
made her Barbie to be she took it seriously because she needs the freaking money.
Not gonna lie though, that Barbie movie kind of I want to see it.
I
I'd
don't.
rather see. Okay, slight deviation, but very slight. I'd rather watch the Barbie movie than the Flash movie.
I'd rather watch Wolf of Wall Street than any of those movies.
Blah blah blitty blah. You're old and lame.
No, folks, if you want to see all of Margot Robbie, watch The Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't want to see all of Margot Robbie. I just want to see her do a good Sue Storm, and I'm going to give her a chance on which.
I'll give her a chance. I mean, it's not like anybody has any choice in the matter, because if they did cast her, then she's Sue Storm. It's not like anybody else is going to be able to say anything about it.
I'm middling on her. I'm like, she's kind of meh. She can do some good performances, but it's more like 50-50.
I'm sorry, but I would have done the one they had for Krasinski. And I would have had his wife, Emily Blunt. And then figure out who else to make Johnny Storm and
well, they
Ben
casted
Grimm.
Johnny Storm. They already casted those two as well, but I can't remember who it is.
Is it going to be a female thing?
No.
Good.
It's dude. It's going to be a dude. But I think it's going to be a CGI thing, at least partially.
Well, they better get the ever-loving blue-eyed thing right. But anyway, back to the movie. So
sorry.
No, it's all right.
Like I said, it's then diversion.
Yeah, we have Thanos in the background of this film, very much.
Oh yes.
With
oh yeah,
Gamora and Nebula.
Yep.
And a lot of people, or what Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I'll actually bring this up on that stream when we get to it. What that movie seems to forget is that in this movie, Nebula wins against Gamora. Yeah, she's helpless, but she still wins in this movie when she's trying to kill Gamora. She had her dead to rights, and she basically would have killed her if it hadn't been for Quill.
Or Groot.
Oh, I found something very, very interesting.
Yeah.
With like fantastic forecasting. Apparently, Vanessa Kirby is a reported frontrunner.
For what?
For Sue Storm.
Vanessa Kirby?
Never heard of her.
Googling now.
Yeah. Kirby.
Mission Impossible.
No fucking way. Really?
What?
Yes.
From Hobbs and Shaw and Mission Impossible?
Or The Crown on...
Here's a question. Why are they casting brunettes?
Look, people can dye their hair.
Yeah, but if you're going to do a blonde, if you're going to do a natural blonde, then get your frickin' roots bleached.
She's got the blue eyes, though, so they don't have to do the weird contacts like they did with Jessica Alba.
Yeah, that's true. Jessica Alba, actually, I thought she did a decent Sue Storm. I'm not going to lie. I actually liked the original Fantastic Four movies.
I did too. So far,
even
it's the best.
Silver Surfer one. Because I'll defend the freaking Galactus thing, because a lot of people say Galactus was a storm cloud. No, Galactus was in the storm cloud.
He's a fart cloud.
No, he wasn't.
His shape was inside that storm cloud.
Nope.
They needed to have the actual figure come out of the storm cloud. Then
you damn right.
I'm gonna say that. Like, look, it's not it's not terrible, but I'm like, yeah, they need to have him actually come out of it.
They had one of the greatest villains and one of the greatest, most iconic characters in the MCU or the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I know. He was a fart.
As a giant fart.
He's a giant fart cloud.
No. The space radiation that turned the Fantastic Four, that was Galactus's fart. I'll still stand by that.
Okay, fine, but Galactus is not a cloud, and Galactus was not in the cloud. Galactus was the cloud.
Well, then how do you explain a head or shape that was going after the Silver Surfer when he went inside the cloud?
It didn't look like Galactus. It was just an amorphous head. It had no shape or
Yeah, it just looked like
Yeah,
Parallax in the
actually,
Green
it did
Lantern movie,
have-
like
No,
an
it
amorphous
didn't.
head.
No,
Yeah, I'm
I'll show
sorry.
you
I'm
sometime.
sorry.
We'll get back to this
Nope.
movie. I'll show you
Okay.
sometime later.
All right.
you're
But
not going to
anyway.
win this, Orange. Forget it.
All right.
Actually,
Let's
I
get back
will,
to
but-
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
instead of arguing
back
about
to the
Fantastic
Guardians of the
Four
Galaxy,
parts.
folks.
Yeah,
This
we
is how
totally
passionate-
derailed with the
This
Fantastic.
is how passionate we are, folks. Where
Yeah.
we can.
Galactus
I
Where
just
we
want
will
a good
sometimes.
Fantastic Four again. Okay.
I know, right?
We should
Anyway,
do that
back-
for a weekend stream, though.
We will eventually.
Fantastic
We
Four,
will
yeah.
fucking do that. We
Oh, yeah,
will
that'd be
do that
awesome.
sometime as a
That'd be
weekend
awesome.
stream if we can all get it together.
Galactus was on a cloud.
Anyway, so on Xandar, we have, or now that Gamora is going after Quill, or as Korag said, Star-Lord. We get the broker, and this dude is the ugliest fucking guy ever.
So are you.
You looked in the
Ooh,
mirror lately?
Burn.
Who's the one that's not on camera? Oh, right, that's me. Or
None of us are on camera.
I'm on camera. Hasn't broken yet. But anyway. So he doesn't want anything to do as soon as he hears from Ronan. And we get the nice chase. But we also have frickin' Rocket talking about all these
People are stupid.
frickin' losers. People are stupid. The kid that's being helped, he's like, "What? You don't need help. Learn how to do it yourself. You waste this." And he also rags on Stan Lee for cheating on his wife and whatnot. It's like,
Okay,
oh my god.
I gotta say this. Rocket Raccoon is the Randall Graves of the MCU.
Yeah.
If you get that reference, you get a gold star and a cookie.
So yeah, and you see Groot drinking fountain water,
Hey,
and
plant's got a drink.
yeah, he does. Not joking. And let's see if I can get the Groot here.
We are Groot. Voiced by the magnificent vocal tones of Mr. Vin Diesel.
Yep.
I thought
Not
that was
the Groot.
crazy. I was like, "There's no way that's him," and then I was like, "Oh, that is him." I was wrong.
He has done every iteration of Groot since the beginning,
Including the
Guardians
baby.
Which is just insane when I see him. You know those videos of him in the studio, and he like gets into it.
Oh yeah.
Vin
I
Diesel
mean, when
is,
he's screaming at the top of his lungs during a breakout, it's like, well, he does that all the time. I mean, he did it in Fast 5 when he was about to bash the Rock's head in.
Yeah.
yeah, and who wouldn't want to bash the Rock's head in?
Well, the soccer wrench.
Self-absorbed.
So yeah, I do like how Groot he's not slow or dumb, but he is simple.
Yes.
I mean, I won't call him slow or dumb. I'll call him simple. I won't
Yes.
call him slow or dumb.
He's not dumb.
Yeah, because he's actually quite smart in certain ways. He's
Yes,
simple.
he is.
He's almost like a child.
He's instinctive.
Yeah, he's
He's
almost
very,
like
very
a child.
He's very, very instinctive.
I mean, later on when he stabs all those guys and starts smashing them back and forth, and then turns
That's
back
the
to
best. That was
turns
awesome.
back to him and
Oh
just
my
gives that
gosh, I
shit-eating
died.
grin.
I
That shit-eating
absolutely,
grin, man.
I absolutely died. That was just, and when he elongates his finger and pokes into Drax's chest after Drax gets dunked in the vat and everything by Ronan,
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
Okay. I have to tell this now. When we were watching this for a bachelor party, and I was like, he's creating all of the he's creating the thing around all of his friends and everything. I was like, is there anything Groot can do? And one of my buddies was there. He's like, well, he is Treesus. And I'm like, well, think about it. Think about it. He can emit light. He sacrifices his life to save his friends. He somewhat
He's E.T..
resurrects Drax and everything after Drax almost drowning.
Yep.
And when he gets mad, he'll whip some people because he basically turns his arm into a giant whip. and just
Or-
starts beat.
Stabbing. Yeah.
Yeah, granted, Jesus never stabbed anybody, but he did create a
He
whip
also
out of
gives
thorns
that
and
girl a flower.
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So
That was cute.
Groot is Teresa's. We all died. We all absolutely died. I mean, you
And
had to be
everybody
there.
says that he resurrects himself. I mean, he does come back to
Yeah.
life. However,
Yes, he does.
he does not retain his memory from his previous life. It is essentially a different group.
Granted,
Reincarnation. I can't think of it.
resurrection.
Reincarnation would involve knowing your previous life.
No, this is
No,
having
not
connection to-
always. No.
Or having some sort of connection to your previous life.
Well,
Yes.
that is a connection because the branch broke off, and that's
Very
the
true. All right, so yeah, it works. Reincarnation works. So I do like how she cuts his arms off, and he's whining about, "Oh, your arm will grow back, man. Just put bitch." And the thing is, his arms grow back rather freaking quickly if you really think
Yep.
about it, because
Yeah, they do.
when he
By
gets
the
when they get arrested, like just minutes later, and they're processing him, his arms are already starting to grow back a little bit.
Yep. Yep.
And he just walks forward and looks down. He's like, "What are you guys doing in there?" And I love it. What a bunch of a-holes. And John C. Riley, I think, is the Denarian Day.
Denarian Day. John C. Riley is a delight in this movie, even though he
Yeah,
has
he
only
is.
two. He only has I think 2 or 3 scenes in the whole movie, but he's
Yeah.
you gotta
Hey,
love
it's
John
Star
C. Riley.
Prince. Star Lord, man. Yeah, this guy's so famous. He has a code name. It's an outlaw name. Don't worry about him, man. Everybody, it's okay to have a code name.
And he's the other guy who actually the Saul
Denarian Saul.
yeah he was actually he played one of the roommates in Shaun of the Dead. And his character's name was Peter.
No way. Oh my gosh.
Way.
Wow. Anyway.
Well, they refer to him as Pete, but his name is Peter.
And I
But here's
love
the fact. Go ahead.
freaking when Peter Quill does the middle finger thing. I did not know how this was going to work. Now, in the trailers, they actually freaking
show that. Yeah.
No, they censor.
Oh, they censor
the
it.
middle
That's
finger.
right. Yeah,
And they
do censor
and
it.
they put in front of it obscene gesture or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen gesture warning or
Yeah.
detection and something
Or
like
yeah,
that.
obscene gesture detected.
I kind of wish
And,
they kept that in, but I'm glad at the same time I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, and you also see. I love the backgrounds they give because you see Gamora cybernetic backgrounds and whatnot. You learn a little bit here and there from them.
Yeah, if you pause it and read it,
Yeah,
it does spend enough time. It does give you enough frames to kind of like skim it and stuff. But if you pause the movie and read it, you're like, oh, cool. And I'm glad that we didn't get an origin story with these guys. I'm glad that we just like jumped right into the middle of the action. You know what I mean?
I believe this scene was like used for marketing. So like I like that marketing. It's just like oh, here's these characters. They're gonna go on a fun adventure, basically.
Well, and here's the other thing cool too. This was the first movie post Avengers 1 where we actually got any type of imagery with Thanos. They kept the hologram image still fairly fuzzy, but you had the basic shape of his head that we actually see later on, because I don't think they had completely finalized Thanos' design yet, because if you realize his look from Avengers 1 to when we finally meet him in Infinity War does change. But
and it changes from this one to that one too.
Yeah, Avengers 1, like he looked more like pinkish purple.
Yeah, he looked more red.
His eyes were like blue or something.
No, he was but he was more of a purplish blue. In this one, he's more purple, which is his actual skin tone from the comic.
Yeah.
So, but
they did a good job in phase 1 and phase 2 of like building up to Thanos, but also kind of keeping that secrecy. Something that they're kind of lacking in phase 4. It's like I don't really know what they're building up to.
But they dropped the main bad in Quantumania, and it's like, So Kang's going to be the main bad, and it's like, well, now we know that it's going to have to be somebody else because fucking the dude's arrested.
But it seems like it just, I don't know, it's kind of all over the place. But this was phase 2, I believe,
Yes.
and they just did a great job of like expanding the universe a little bit by introducing new characters, but kind of giving you something that you already understood. Like Gamora was very like Black Widowy, and Drax was kind of like Thor in a way because he didn't understand like the customs that people had, and
Yeah, very literal.
so you had this kind of like, we start to get the Marvel formula, but it was fun, and they did it in such a way that they like kind of, you don't realize it's happening, and but the deeper connections with like the background of Thanos, with like meeting Gamora and Nebula, I like. This was a good addition at the time, and like where they put it, it was very like solid.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
here's the other thing too. You think about it. This is our first step out into like the more cosmic element of the MCU. I mean, Thor, we got a little bit. Thor 2, we got a little bit. This one, we get dunked in the deep end of the pool of the MCU, and that's our space. That's what I always loved about the Marvel universe, the comic book universe, and everything.
They handed up and built it up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing I loved. And the design of the different worlds, even the kiln. I mean, the design of the Dark Aster, the design of the ships for the Ravagers, the design of Xandar, the Xandarian ships, everything, the Nova Corps ships, everything. It didn't feel CG, although it was CGI, obviously. But it felt lived in. It felt grounded. It felt realistic, at least to a degree, and everything. And excuse me. The one other thing I'll comment on is when we get to Sanctuary, everything. We'll get to that when we get to that, obviously. But even getting to Sanctuary, when Ronan has to face Thanos face to face, that whole moment there is just brilliant.
Yep. Now, we are actually coming up on Sanctuary because after they're dropped off at the kiln, we learn very quickly that Gamora is very much hated there. And everybody wants a piece of her. And this blue guy starts getting fresh with Peter Quill. Now, did anybody notice the voice of the blue guy is none other than Nathan Fillion?
I did notice that because I love Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, it's actually Nathan Fillion from Firefly and the Rookie.
Yep.
And it's like,
Also Buffy.
Yep, Buffy.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that he played the homicidal priest.
Yeah, I remember. Father Zachariah, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
No, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
That was it, I think.
Nathan Fillion playing Nathaniel. But yeah.
No, I'll figure it out. I'll look it up later.
But anyway, you see all these people bang, and you see that Gamora is actually, you see the tough exterior that she gives off, but when they start banging on her door and her reactions, she's jumping, she's actually reacting with fear. And it's like, well, yeah, she's actually starting to show that she's a little bit scared. Also, Quill's very high possessiveness of the music that his mother gave him, where he goes after that guy.
Hey, that's why. And then it's just like he just gets tased repeatedly, like.
The funny thing is, Guardians Volume 1 actually caused some of a resurgence of the Sony Walkman. You could actually. They started producing them a little bit more after Guardians Volume 1 came out, and even Volume 2.
They started making.
I want one.
Yeah. They brought them out for a limited run.
Yeah.
And then you see the augmentations on Rocket's back when he's sharing a cell with Quill.
Yeah.
And does anybody feel that Groot really extended his fingers super long into that dude's nose?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it just, or you saw his fingers just start growing and going and going when he put his fingers, and it's like, oh damn, dude, how is that dude not dead? But yeah,
Well,
then
but
we
you
get
also hear
go
the
ahead.
bones crunch. You hear the
Yeah.
bones break.
And then
And the guy's laying there on the floor, and he's like, "I hate you so much." And I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you were such a big badass a minute ago. Why are you being a little crapper now?"
Yeah. So then we get
Wimp.
the other from Avengers 1 calling Ronan to Sanctuary with Thanos. And I gotta say, folks, this introduction to Thanos, and also
Ooh.
Ronan killing the other, I'm being your, and it's like, shut the fuck up. And he kills him with a snap of the neck with the hammer.
Yeah.
And
the
it's
gravity
like,
hammer.
yeah. And this actually gets Thanos' attention because it's like his emissary has been killed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, the only thing I don't take seriously, boy, is you.
You're
Your
not Josh
politics bore me. What?
I said, "You're not Josh Brolin."
I know. But I still love the voice. And it's like,
Oh, I know.
he's like, because he calls it like it is. Your politics bore me. Your demeanor is that of a pouty child. But he's not going to admit his own failure. And apparently, you've alienated my favorite daughter, Gamora. And it's like, yeah, could it have been that you slaughtered her parents?
You slaughtered her
people?
whole planet.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, he slaughtered half of her planet, not all of it. I think is how it's depicted.
Still half.
Half is not whole.
Yeah, I've seen that scene. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's like, bro, like, people were dying all around him as he took him.
Yes.
Yeah,
I understand that. I'm not marginalizing it. But he didn't kill all of them. He killed half. But he did kill her family. That's important.
And also, one of the things that he says, he's like, "Come to me again, empty-handed. I will bathe the starways in your blood." I'm like,
oh, and then you get that classic. You get that smile, that absolutely menacing, somewhat deranged smile.
yeah.
And Ronan is just standing there twitching like, man, I want to mouth off of you, but I know if I do, I'm going to get my spine ripped out with its skull still attached.
Or he starts looking down in a submissive gesture because he knows he can't stand against Thanos.
Oh, but I'd love to see him try.
I mean, here's the thing, folks.
How many people here would love to see him try? I mean it.
If he would have went against Thanos with the Power Stone, he may have stood a chance. He would have actually probably beaten him. However, no, not without the Infinity Stone. With the Infinity Stone, he could have easily just destroyed Thanos with a blast of it.
Maybe.
No, there's no maybe about that. You can't stand against that stone. That is the Power Stone.
You have to remember, Thanos is a mutated Titan.
That may be, but he's still. I mean, they cut his arm off and they removed his head. He's not. He's not invincible.
No, he's not invincible, but he was in a weakened state.
Sure.
Alien species are immune to immune to decapitation.
We'll touch on, actually, no. I'm gonna wait for this, or I'm gonna wait for Infinity War to bring this up. So never mind on that. But yeah, I do like how we then see. We see back at the kiln, they actually rip Gamora out of her cell, thanks to the guards, mind you. And
the guards don't even like her.
Rocket has sleep face instead of bedhead. He has bed face. And Groot is actually rooting against the wall.
Yep.
As he sleeps, which is pretty cool.
Well, he's drawing energy from the base, from the prison.
Yeah.
Because that's how his species grows and regenerates. They absorb energy from the environment around them.
Yep. And I really do. Or you get the introduction to Drax. Now, originally in the comics, Drax originally came from Earth and was put in that body.
Mm-hmm.
He is not an alien from a different species.
Nope.
He was put in that body.
Yep.
But in the MCU, they gave him a different
origin.
They gave him a slightly different origin. Because yes, he hates Thanos. Yes, he wants to kill Thanos because of Thanos killing him originally.
Yep.
But in the movie, he is played by Dave Bautista, and his wife Ovette and his daughter Chimera, I believe it's
Chimera. Yeah.
The daughter's Chimera.
Chimera.
Yeah. And then we get this crazy freaking dialogue between Quill and Drax. Why would I put a finger against his throat? It means it's a general expression of killing somebody. Man. Yeah, I mean, you know what it means. Yeah. And then he looks at the guy. No. It's like, shut the fuck. I like your knife. I'm keeping it. That was my favorite knife.
And I'm gonna say this. I have become a fan. Honest to gosh, fan of Dave Bautista as an actor. I like him better as an actor than I did when he was in the WWE, and he has really grown as an actor. He's I'll say he's the best wrestler turned actor that I've seen probably ever.
No.
Not to be.
Roddy Piper.
He only did one movie. Like one really good movie, and that was They Live.
He also did shows and TV.
No, guys. No, you're all wrong, because it's John Cena. Because how does he star in all those movies when no one can see him?
Nope. Sorry, Dave Bautista.
Thank you, Riot Kitty. Thank you. Bam. That was a perfect joke set up, you guys.
I mean, it's a great joke, but I never understood the whole nobody can see John Cena thing. I just don't get it.
He's too fast, basically.
It's his like signature thing. He puts his hand in front of his face and waves and say, "You can't see me."
Well,
I
my
loved him in
kick
the Fred movies.
my
He was just in a refrigerator for almost the entire time.
It's not a joke. It's a tagline. It's a good.
So you're saying that Drax stole John Cena's tagline when he was doing, in Avengers: Infinity War?
Yes, when he was standing there and like, if I stay absolutely still, nobody can see. Yeah, it was.
Okay, maybe he did.
If I were John Cena, I'd be like, "Oh, Batista's joking on me." Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think they would actually have a beef with one another because.
No.
Okay, I'll say this. Dave Bautista has done a much wider repertoire of films compared to John Cena. John Cena just does dumb action movies. Dave Bautista has done other types of movies. He's done Guardians.
He's tried to expand. He's expanded his range. Yeah.
Correct.
He did Knock at the Cabin, which I heard he was very good in. Knock at the Cabin.
I think he was amazing in Blade Runner. Honestly.
Oh, he was, and he was only in it for 20 minutes.
I thought he did pretty decently in Riddick.
Oh yeah, he was pretty good in that.
Was he in Riddick?
I guess.
He was in the last Riddick movie, yeah.
Oh, okay. I never saw that one. So okay.
But yeah, he plays one of the mercs in that one.
Okay. No, I never saw that. So, but anyway, all right, back to Guardians.
So they end up saving her, and they have to come up with a plan to break out. And he needs that freaking Quarnex battery. And I love this. He explains about the battery, and Groot, in all of his simplicity, goes for the Quarnex battery. And then you understand it's the last thing they need. And he's like, "Look, I have a plan here, and it involves a freaking Quarnex battery. So figure it out." And I need that guy's leg. I need that guy's arm thing. And
the security armband.
Yeah, the security armband, and Groot fucking pulls the battery while they're talking about this.
It's like
he's literally You watch him, and you're like, "No, Groot, not yet, not Groot, not yet, Groot, not yet."
Shit, fuck, Groot,
I love that scene. That's like one of the best scenes.
It really
is. It's so great, yeah.
But the thing, like a Drax staring at him in the foreground.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell is he doing?
And Drax,
Or
and
we
Drax-
could improvise and then they come out.
It's like, or
But
we
they-
can just
but-
get that and improvise.
and the improvisation worked.
Yeah,
It
And
did.
it's
It
like-
completely, totally worked.
and I love how now here I am going to nitpick, folks, from as a reviewer, because this is a slight review as well as a discussion. When he does the yelling out "I am Groot" when the robots surround him, that was not the best synced or audio sync with the lip movement.
Okay,
If you
and
pay-
More movement.
Yeah, because when he yells out "I am Groot," it just doesn't translate well, in my opinion. So then we
And?
get. Yeah, I know you're not a reviewer; you're a lover. But
I beg your pardon. I am a reviewer.
I know I'm joking.
Well, it's a nit-
yeah, I did
Like
notice that.
I did
watching
say it's a
that.
nitpick. But anyway,
I did notice that. I guess it's not that big of a deal. I suppose it's not.
it isn't. It's a nitpick. But
Yeah.
I love how he's like, "You want my what? I've transferred
leg.
30,000 units," and he fricked it. It's like,
Yeah.
so did he hobble around? What did he look like? It's fucking rocket.
Yeah, Rocket just laughs. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, I was kidding. I didn't.
Yeah, and then I love when Rocket gets a hold of the weapon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
know that Rocket's about to unleash, and you see,
Run and gun. Yeah.
and Vin is just screaming as Groot, and everybody says his vocabularistics are exclusively I and am and Groot in that exclusively in that order, except
But
that it's I am Groot. We.
Well, at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
we.
I know. He ends
gets
up,
one more word.
Well, it's because
Right,
he also expanded his because his it's not just his body that expands. He's expanding all of himself except for his head. So his neck is also his vocal cords are also expanded in this moment. So he has one more word that he can say. You know?
Yeah.
It's a good
I
theory.
like it when he meets Thor and Thor's like, "Oh yeah, I took that class. Like I know that language."
Yeah, they taught it in Asgard. It's an elective.
I was like, "That's just funny." Just
You
to
speak Groot, yeah.
like,
It's like,
Well,
what the
obviously,
fuck?
so does Rocket. But the thing you have to remember about Groot is it's all in the inflection and the tone of his voice and exactly what he's saying when he says, "I am Groot."
Yeah, and also anybody or the next movies they understand exactly what he's saying because they end up getting the translators put in their necks. So,
And when he's like teen Groot and he has like the attitude and everybody's like, "Whoa, whoa, watch
Whoa,
your
yeah.
language."
I
You
am,
know.
Wow.
I am Groot.
Hey,
Whoa,
Groot. It's
I
like-
am Groot.
I love
You know Vin Diesel
yeah.
had Vin Diesel had fun doing those lines, even though I mean it's the exact same 3 words, but it's all the inflection and the delivery.
and that's what a lot of people give Vin Diesel a lot of shit. This dude freaking said 3 words in so many different ways that you could actually understand exactly what he's saying.
Yeah,
It's like he planted a fucking tree. He said all of 4 words as that tree, and you can understand every time or what he was saying in those 4 words or 3 words mostly. But it's like you do understand this dude actually pulled that shit off.
Yeah.
Well, from what I hear too.
Well, it's
'cause-
not what
because-
you say; it's how you say it. So yeah.
Exactly.
Well, from what I heard though, Groot in Volume 3 has his dialogue is greatly expanded, at least to a certain degree. I just haven't heard exactly what because I have
Yeah.
still not.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I swear to God, if they fuck that up, I'm gonna be pissed. You
They
don't
don't.
Ugh.
He's gonna say "but" the whole time.
great. But anyway,
Orange, from what I have heard, Volume 3 was
decent, except
Very-
that they literally drop a freaking F-bomb in that movie.
so what?
I'm sorry, but
PG-13, you're allowed 1.
yes, you're allowed one.
one.
But in all of the freaking Marvel movies, they don't even drop an F-bomb, and then suddenly they decide to, in one of the more kid-friendly of all of the movies.
Oh, for Pete's sakes! I was watching movies in the 80s where every other word was the F-bomb.
Yeah, I get
so,
that, dude. But seriously, what is it? Why did they choose the Guardians
Why
of the
the hell-
Galaxy franchise.
Why the hell
Because
not?
I'm sorry, I would have chosen something like Endgame to drop the first F-bomb, to be completely honest. And I'm fucking Iron Man. That's where I would have
That would
freaking
have been
put
a
it.
good one.
But anyway,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I just don't, or to be completely honest, shit and piss and whatnot, I have no problem with. You don't drop the freaking F-bomb in the MCU unless it's a freaking R-rated film. Because honestly, they had a good formula. Why change it?
because it's the last Guardians movie. It's the last time these characters are gonna probably be on screen, directed by James Gunn. So why not at least once break out of the box just a little bit?
Because why break?
I think I just
something
need
at
the context of the swear word. If it's just like some kind of
Get in the
random
fucking
South Park
car.
stuff-
Is basically what he says in the third one when he drops the F-bomb. Get in the fucking car.
Oh, they don't
Okay.
even drop it at a good time?
Yeah, it's just a get in the fucking car.
They use it in a joke, which I think is good.
No, whatever.
That's
That's,
Oh, well, okay,
we
let's go
differ
back
on
to
the
volume
opinion,
1.
but- yeah, back to volume 1. So, Rocket, we see his genius in this. Because everybody
Yes.
thinks Rocket is just coming up with this on the fly. No.
He's a
No,
He
trash
gets the
can.
battery. He gets the battery. He gets the armed thing from Gamora, and you see him on or right off start to tinker. And it's like,
Yep.
okay, this
Rocket
dude's
is like
tinkering on the
MacGyver
fly.
in the MCU.
Yeah, he is. He's basically the raccoon MacGyver. And
Yep.
then you see not only does he get them into the control room, he
Mhm.
turns off the gravity. He slaves or he drone slaves he slaves the drones,
Mhm.
and then he uses them as the movement tools for that
The propulsion.
propulsion. And then he closes the door behind them after they break out of that room. And it's like, and this dude did this while joking about about a leg and hobbling. And I'm like, he can split his attention that well. Now, folks, we can argue on all this stuff, and then I can get really deep into this stuff. Because you saw us just arguing about Volume 3, and now we're deep back into Volume 1, where I'm going into a deep dive of Rocket's genius here.
Rocket is a genius.
Yeah, he really is. And I really do like that because it really shows that this dude is somebody you don't want to piss off and you want on your side as long as you freaking can have him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because he's also a major kleptomaniac.
And throughout the movie, you see them like get better as a team and work
Yeah.
together better.
Yeah.
You know, they're all kind of discombobulated, and then
This was their
through
first hit.
experience, they learn each other's strengths. And in this
Yep.
particular moment, we learn obviously like Rocket's strength that we've been talking about, and you're like, okay, like everybody's kind of surprised at the end, but like in a happy way, like, all right, sweet, like that was easier than we thought, because it was because of Groot being simple and doing what he did. It kind of sped up the process. It was like, all right, let's go.
Well, not to mention, not only is Rocket a technological genius, he is a great strategist. Think about it, really. Think about it.
Well, tactical genius, he's tactically sound. I'll give him that. I would not call him a genius.
I said strategist, not tactical
Or
genius.
strategist. Well, strategist, tactics, they both employ the same. Because he was about to blow up a ship that he's trying to rescue people off of.
Granted.
And he's like, I was only going to blow it up if they didn't turn you over. It's like, but they're still on the ship. You fucking idiot. Now,
I love that. I was like, what?
I'm going to give you the count of 5. 5! And it's like, oh shit, is he about to fire? I didn't think he was going to count down from 5, but it's like, I'm going to give you to the count of 5. 5! And it's like, oh shit. That's it.
And Quill and Gamora are like, Rocket, it's okay. Rocket.
Yeah,
and he's
we
like,
figured.
oh, hey, guys.
Quill.
Hey,
But
Quill.
yeah, the Hadron Enforcer. It's like, what does
Hadron.
Hadron mean to the greater galaxy?
Hadron.
You know, Hadron, same thing.
No, it isn't. It's pronounced Hadron. Hadron Enforcer.
Stop
Not
being
Hadron.
a freaking nitpicker. Anyway.
You're being a nitpicker a minute ago about Groot.
Anyway.
You're nitpicking on Groot.
So they managed to bust out for the most part. And now, if you want to talk tactical genius, look at Peter Quill.
Yes.
He freaking shows he shows where the orb is, and then he's like, that guy didn't put it back. And he goes for the stuff, but while she's looking away, he sneaks the orb out of that bag, hands it to her, and he's like, you got get to the Milano, named after the craziest freaking woman in all of history. But back then she wasn't. So yeah, Alyssa Milano was probably his teenage wet dream.
Can you blame him?
She had looks back then. I'm not gonna lie.
She did.
And then you find out it's like, you got the orb, right? Yes. Oh. No, he still has the orb because he's not an idiot. He may act like an idiot. He may actually be an idiot sometimes. But he's not an idiot, you know? So he goes up to that dude and just bashes his freaking head in to get his music back. And I just love that because it's like, yeah, you done fucked up. You took something of his that is extremely... A lot of people are like, all this for a freaking music box. A music box from his dying mother. So yeah, that has more value to him than all the units in the galaxy.
Yep.
Think about it.
And we see what happens in Volume 2
Yep.
when they get smooshed.
Oh yeah. And it's like,
Ooh.
you son of a bitch. But anyway,
We'll
get to that when we get to that.
We get to that.
yeah. So he busts out, and I love Drax is like, behold. And it's like, what other word could you say? It's like, look at that. No, it just doesn't have the same gravitas as, behold, this flying man toward us, you know?
Behold, Star-Lord.
Tell me, friend, what did you seek? Or what was it that you wanted to retrieve? And he hands him the music. You're an imbecile.
Only to you, Drax. Only to you. To anybody who's an appreciator of great music.
Yeah. So then Rocket's freaking tearing apart his ship, wanting to build weapons and blow up moons. Nobody's blowing up moons. You just want to suck the joy out of everything.
Kind of like you.
Only when I'm trying to keep on track. But anyway. And Quill, your ship is filthy.
If they had a black light, looked like a Jackson Pollock painting.
She has no idea. Turn on a black light.
Oh, yeah.
I just said the line.
Yeah, I know. Well, you misquoted it, but anyway.
No, I didn't.
So, how does Rocket know what a Jackson Pollock painting is?
Who knows?
Because he tells him, you got issues, Quill. It's like, you somehow know what a Jackson Pollock painting is?
Maybe he like plugged into the internet or whatever and got like Terran information.
Possibly, you never know. I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility with him. So nowhere. Is it like a celestial from the Eternals or
probably
something else? Because this thing actually did have a face.
It was awesome looking.
I want to say it's a celestial, but without the armor exterior. Because the thing you have to remember about celestials, they all have that suit of armor around them. So something tells me this is a celestial that got killed, which proves to me that a celestial, which we saw in Eternals, can be killed.
True. And
but the question is exactly who or what killed the Celestial? And my guess is a big scary man in a suit of purple armor that looks like a badass and not like a freaking cloud.
Well, or it could have been somebody who is actually quite smaller and cut off his head and then used it to forge a weapon, but unfortunately they didn't go that route because Null would have been a true badass in the freaking MCU.
Yeah, but way too overpowered.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
he
there are-
literally pulls a sword out of darkness and just slices the head off a freaking Celestial. So yeah, I mean, they had a whole one-off storyline where he put symbiotes on Celestials, and he took over Earth.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know what? That reminds me of when Thanos decided to do symbiotes on himself. That was interesting.
I didn't know that he did that. Huh?
It was an Avengers Assemble cartoon.
Interesting. I'll have to check it out sometime. So,
They actually did a Funko Pop of a whole bunch of different characters. I think Thanos was one of them.
Yeah, I think they also did a Funko Pop of like a Carnage Thanos thing. I'm pretty sure.
Oh dear.
then there's
Oh,
also
dear
Hybrid.
heavens.
That's like 5 different freaking symbiotes in one, and I can show you guys those ones. But
Yeah.
back to the
Carnage, Thanos.
movie. But
That's scary.
so they break out and they get to nowhere, and we get introduced to Taneleer Tavon again.
Taneleer.
Taneleer, yeah, I said Taneleer.
Okay.
And we see that there is a dark elf in there.
Yep.
We see there's a Chitauri in there who somehow is still alive after the main ship was blown up. Now, he could have been slave to a different ship. That is indeed true.
Or Tavon could have a way of keeping particular alien creatures alive.
That
in
is
their
also
little
true.
Because he is a collector. He knows how to collect because he is the collector.
Yep. And also, we get the Sputnik dog. I forget the dog's name.
Cosmo, which
yep.
because Cosmo is in Volume 3.
Yeah.
She's actually part of the team.
I will always know him as he. I don't
Fair
care
enough.
what the movie says. But
Fine. He, she, the dog.
also, if you pay close attention when they get into there, you see Howard
The duck. Yeah, what you see at the end of
yeah.
that scene.
And I'm sorry, folks, from a kid or a child of the 80s,
Yep.
I will admit,
It's funny.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
like Howard the Duck, the movie. As twisted
I
as
do
it
too.
is. As
Yeah, we get
twisted as
That is
that fucking
extremely
movie
twisted.
is. That
From the
movie is
mind-
fucking twisted.
From the mind of George Lucas.
From the
Daisy's
mind
knockers.
of George Lucas, a woman that was ready to commit bestiality with a duck.
Not to mention Daisy's knockers.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or as Nostalgia Critic called it, duck tits.
Yeah. I mean, folks, the fans of Howard the Duck went nuts in the theaters that day.
Oh yeah.
They're like, yeah! Seth Green is the voice of
Yep.
Howard.
Yep.
My mom even recognized that. She's like, "Oh my god, look, it's Howard the Duck!" And I'm like, "God damn it!"
Well, here's the funny thing. Howard the Duck actually shows up in, I think, at least one episode of What If. It's actually the episode with T'Challa as Star-Lord.
Well,
And it's
he's also
hysterical.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's also
Yep.
in Guardians 2, and he's also in
Yep.
Endgame.
Yes, he is. He's one of the ones that comes through the portal with a gun. He's like, all right, where is that mother effer that disintegrated me?
Yep, basically, because it's the scene where you see Wasp or Janet Van Dyne,
Yeah, Wasp. Yeah. Mhm.
and you see him for a quick second. Now, shit, you know what? Hold on 1 second, folks. What were your thoughts on, each of you go through your thoughts on Howard or the Collector?
Nowhere.
Howard the
The
Duck
Collector.
review. Let's go. No, okay.
Or no, the
Nowhere.
Nowhere and the Collector.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Nowhere looks
Right.
very scary from the outside. It's just a giant floating glowing head in space, basically. And also it's basically a death box. Like it could turn on at any time and kill everybody in there.
No, because it's dead. Dead.
Yeah, and they've
Or like something
harvested-
else could react to it.
Its brain matter was harvested.
Oh.
And I like that they
Ew.
like moved in because it's like, okay, this whole like community moved in because, you know, the people who needed to harvest it needed to work, and so there needs to be, you know, places to live and whatnot. So I just
Ew, God,
I like that
that's
idea
disgusting.
of I mean, kind of, but like I'm willing to give it like weird space, whatever, because it's, you know,
Weird
It's
space
space.
town. Like I thought it was pretty creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, here's
Folks,
here's
he existed
the
in that game that I played.
Oh my god.
well here's the crazy thing. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, that's where they're at. They've completely renovated Nowhere. They are in Nowhere. They've turned it into a actually hospitable looking place that doesn't look like an industrialized zone.
Nice.
So it does get Nowhere gets a bit of a redemption and renovation after Thanos goes in and wrecks the joint.
Well, yeah, because he was toasting it up with the Power Stone.
Yeah.
So we then get Thanos. He wants to buy Groot's corpse.
Yep.
And it's like, you must allow me to purchase your corpse at the moment of your death, of course. I'm Groot. It's like, and basically Groot's like, I have no problem with that. I mean, that's basically how I would have translated it in that moment. I'm Groot.
Yeah.
It's like,
I am
okay,
Groot.
sure, why not? And so that 4 billion freaking units. But also before the collector sequence, you get the fight between Groot, Drax, and Rocket, where Rocket's ready to blow the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah.
She called me vermin. She called me rodent. I didn't ask to be made. And you're always laughing at me. Well, let's see how well you laugh when I blow 6 holes in your freaking face. It's like oh,
Okay,
this dude's about to
Orange,
freaking
calm
go
down.
nuts.
You're not an anamorphic raccoon that's been cybernetically engineered. Just calm down.
I know, but I was just getting in the moment. So
Yeah, but when you get in a moment, it's scary.
exactly, because I put so much passion behind it.
Yeah, but you're not Bradley Cooper. Only Bradley Cooper is Bradley Cooper.
I don't need to be Bradley Cooper to have passion.
Yes, you do.
I
Only
don't.
Bradley Cooper's allowed to have passion.
Anyway, it's not just Bradley Cooper that's Rocket, by the way. It's also Sean Gunn. So yeah, Sean Gunn played 2 roles in this film, folks. Sean Gunn is the brother of James Gunn, and Sean Gunn is maybe not all the viewers know, but so we then have but yeah, Sean Gunn was basically the body of Rocket.
Yeah.
Running around with his knees on his chin. Basically, because Sean Gunn, he's a tall, lanky guy.
Yeah, kind of like me. I think he's at least 6 foot.
How tall are you?
6'4", so he's got to be at least 6 foot, 6'2".
Also,
I'm guesstimating here.
Now, we all see Howard the Duck here, so I'm going to get rid of that for a moment because I also want to show you guys another thing that was from the game that I played, which is fun. Because Howard the Duck has a friend.
Is it Leah Thompson? Because
No.
I'm okay with that.
Well, believe me, I would be too. But this girl is not in the MCU. However, she is a character who has killed Thanos.
Yeah, it's Nebula.
And it's completely not exact, or it's completely improbable that she killed Thanos. She also stopped Doctor Doom.
That's no small feat.
Her name, or she's a mutant.
I'm trying to think who that could be.
And her mutant power is the ability to communicate with squirrels.
Oh my gosh, Squirrel Girl.
Oh my god, no. Yes.
Yes, Squirrel Girl. You gotta love Squirrel Girl.
She killed
You did-
Thanos.
Yep, she sure did.
She stopped Doom. And when I say that she is a friend of Howard the Duck, I mean that let's get her up here first.
I have a feeling we're about to go into some very scary territory.
This is her normal suit.
Oh, I know her normal suit.
And this is when she was friends with Howard the Duck.
That's not that bad.
She did a Howard the Duck cosplay.
Well, she is Squirrel Girl. She can do that.
And she did it in the comics.
Yeah, I know. I think I've seen images of it before.
So, yeah. I really do like, but getting back to it, we get the background on the Infinity Stones.
Oh, man, I love that. I love that whole thing.
And you actually see a celestial
Yep.
blow
I
up a
don't know
planet.
which one. I don't know which one, but yes, you do.
And the thing that he's using is kind of a nod to Galactus.
Yes.
The thing that's housing the Power Stone, because if you look at it, it's kind of shaped as Galactus's helmet.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
Let's call it the Staff of Galen, because actually that's Galactus's actual name is Galen. So let's call it the Staff of Galen.
All right, well, we'll go there with it. So I like Quill. He's like, there's a little pee coming out of me right now.
I wouldn't blame him.
Now, if you notice, Karina, the his collector's slave, as she calls him, calls herself. Notice how she's tempted when she realizes that this is an Infinity Stone.
Yep.
And after everybody steps away from it, she goes right up to the damn thing. I'll no longer be your slave. And her friend stands up behind her, is like, don't fucking do it. And she grabs a hold of this damn thing.
I mean, all the beings in all the cases are like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And it's like
everybody realizes what the hell it is. They're like, do it.
Because they're all enraptured by what they're seeing. And they're all seeing that 5 mystics managed to hold it for a small time before they were all succumbed to its power.
Yep.
Well, she's not a mystic. She doesn't have friends. She's immortal. And she grabs this thing and blows the frickin' place up.
Yep. It go kablooey.
Now, while all of them are going through this, Ronan is on his way because Drax was drunk and wanted vengeance.
And stupid.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my god, you freaking moron. Now, I love the fight between Drax and Ronan.
Because it's one-sided as hell.
It is extremely one-sided. I mean, it's like...
I come back and what the fudge am I looking?
This is Squirrel Girl. Slayer of Thanos and defeater of Dr. Doom and friend of Howard the Duck.
Look at her little duck bill.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I loved your reaction. I come back and what the fuck? I look at that. Welcome back.
Yep. Thank you.
Let's get Squirrel Girl off of here.
Oh yeah, and Drax definitely gets wrecked in that fight. Like
wrecked? He gets his ass handed to him, and it's.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Like wrecked, that's destroyed.
That's wrecked.
Yeah, and Drax isn't like some puny little he's a strong dude.
Yeah, he ripped apart one of those drones pretty effortlessly.
Seeing him get his ass handed to him, you're like, oh, okay. Ronan's like
on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Well, he is an accuser.
Dude's punching into him and he's not even feeling. He's like, okay. Maybe I may have felt that one, so I'm going to choke you out now even harder. And then he tells him, I don't even remember killing your family. I doubt I'll remember killing you. Oh, shit! Burn!
That was almost as good known as Bison's dialogue from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Raul Julia playing Bison. The day
What'd he say?
when the day that Bison came to a village was the greatest day in your life, but for me, it was a Tuesday.
What movie is that from?
Street Fighter.
Jean-Claude Van Damme Street
Van
Fighter
Damme.
movie.
But with Raul Julia as
Oh.
Bison, and Raul Julia as Bison, it was his last role, and he was glorious in it.
Yeah, he really he
Abs-
did do a good job.
Oh man,
I'm gonna have to find that movie again and watch it.
I'm gonna. Well, okay. To quote
But
General
anyway.
Zod, I will find it.
Anyway, so while Drax is getting his ass handed to him, and if in a literal sense he's just getting his ass, or he's getting his himself beat up, but honor Drax. In a literal sense, though, I could literally see a comic of Ronan handing Drax his ass and be like, "Here's your ass, sir." But anyway, I don't know why I did that with a British accent.
Yeah, because Lee Pace is not British.
Yeah, what is Lee
Here's
Pace?
your ass.
Is he British, Scottish? What?
I'm not sure, but I don't think he's
Lee
British.
Pace? I thought he was American, but
He
I
might
have to
be.
look it up now. But anyway, Nebula is chasing Gamora, and Quill is also in that chase. And Rocket, when Rocket is banging into things and crashing through things, having his slaughter
He's
happy
happy.
face,
He's happy
he looks his scariest.
and his happiest.
Yeah.
We all should look as happy as Rocket in that moment. When Quill tells him, "Dude, these things are industrial grade; they're practically indestructible," and Rockets are like,
Oh,
good, oh goody,
Lee
I get
Pace
to."
is from Chickasha, Oklahoma.
So okay, English
He is
or
American.
American, which means he speaks English.
Yeah. Now, what other people may not know, and doesn't really matter because it really doesn't. Lee Pace is also gay, folks, and he plays this role. Or a lot of people who don't really care about it, it's like when identity politics wasn't a thing, but everybody's saying all this shit about representation. It's like, well, gay people have been in movies all along, just haven't been paying attention.
he was in Pushing Daisies back in the early 2000s, I want to say that show was on.
He was also an elf.
Yes.
Still never seen it. Have no intention to.
What, The Hobbit
No, Elf.
trilogy?
I
No.
love Elf.
I'm not talking about that movie. I'm not talking about the elf movie. I'm never gonna watch that movie. I hate that movie. I'm talking about he was the king of elves in The Hobbit.
Oh, you
Thranduil.
didn't say the Hobbit. You just said the Elf.
He was an elf.
Yeah, I know that.
That's what I
know
said.
He's Thranduil. I know.
Yeah, but yeah, that is.
Adorable.
That actor I can't get into.
Will Ferrell?
Yeah, I couldn't. It's like it's Will Ferrell, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's something wrong. That movie was just too uppity, I guess.
Evil.
Yeah.
Elf is
Evil?
Evil.
What?
I just can't get into it. Anyway, back to this
It's
movie.
evil.
So Nebula actually beats Gamora here, folks. And yet in the second movie, she's always whining about Gamora winning. And it's like, but
Well, before then,
beat her, though.
I think it was when
Her
they
in
were
Guardians
kids,
1.
she specifically.
Well, yeah, she's like, you're always beating me, and when I just wanted a sister, and it's like, oh yeah, that's true. Thanos didn't make you guys fight. But hey, if Gamora
Didn't help
was,
that her father stuck robot parts on her.
well, if Gamora was also getting cybernetic enhancements and whatnot, that means that Nebula would have also won a few times. You know? I mean, he punished them by putting augmentations on them.
Yeah, because he's mad.
Yeah. So it's like Gamora must have lost a few times because she's also cybernetic. You can see when
Or
she's
maybe
getting
she-
the shit shocked out of her or
Yeah,
shocked into her because you could see the cybernetic skeleton.
yeah. Well, and her skeleton,
Yeah,
actual.
her actual skeleton, but also the grafting or the metal grafting of her cybernetics.
Yeah, on her face and stuff.
So yeah, she didn't always lose to her sister.
Yeah, but she lost more often than she won.
True, because she was around like
not to men-
90%.
Well, not to mention Thanos favored
Gamora.
Gamora more than he did. Now, here's the funny thing, and this is a change they made that didn't bother me. In the comic books, Nebula was Thanos' granddaughter.
Yeah,
Here they change her to a direct daughter, which isn't a big leap, but they also changed the design of Nebula, and Nebula was really a one-off character. You only see her you see her in a very deformed form in the comics. I think the Infinity Gauntlet comic series.
mm-hmm.
And then there's a part where she actually gets the gauntlet and she revitalizes herself and she looks healthy. But in this, they really make her a more fleshed out and actually a more sympathetic character,
Yeah.
which I actually appreciate. And I'll say this: Karen Gillian, who I'd only ever seen in Doctor Who, she had a great run as Nebula.
She did.
So.
She was very good as Nebula.
Yep, I agree.
And Zoe Saldana was very good as Gamora. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, Zoe Saldana. I like her better in this than I dare in Avatar.
Well, everybody's ragging on Avatar. I'm not talking about that. I like
I'm not
Avatar.
ragging on it. I'm just saying. I
Well.
said that one thing. That's it.
True, but anyway, all I will say about Avatar is this: I actually like those movies. So yeah.
Okay.
But the Quill saving Gamora, where he somehow survives out in space. Now, yes, he's part celestial and whatnot. We don't know that yet, but
it's a good clue.
It is a good clue that because this dude's eyes were bloodshot, his eyes were glazing over. These shots out in space basically are shot underwater. For those of you who didn't know. Because you can really tell by how his hair is moving and whatnot. It's wet for dry, as they call it in the movie making business.
Yep.
And then they also have dry for wet, which they did in Lord of the Rings during the whole Sam sequence underwater. But this sequence, he actually calls Yondu because it's like, well, hopefully Yondu will save my ass before I die. And he puts his mask on Gamora. And then this lovely moment where they're together. I just couldn't let you die. I had this moment that was incredibly heroic. And I'm thinking to myself, not to brag. And it's like, God damn, dude, you're seriously. I mean, not to brag. And it's like, and there it is.
You had this really good moment, and then you ruined it because you're sometimes stupid.
Yeah, I mean, because he's like, I mean, not to brag. And it's like, oh, God, man, dude. There you go. There you go. You had to brag. But it was a really good moment, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this set. And there you go. I mean, this movie, a lot of people love this movie, and I do too. I'm not going to lie. The way I described this movie when I came out of the theaters, this was a 2-hour blooper reel.
It kind of was.
This is a 2-hour blooper reel.
But a very entertaining blooper reel.
Yeah.
Like most blooper reels are. It's entertaining.
Yeah. And Groot is saving Drax, and freaking I love Rocket when he's bitching about it, and when
you're making me kick grass.
Well, not only that, he's like, oh, boo-hoo, my wife and my child are dead. Oh, I don't care if it's me.
Oh my
And
god.
it's like, well, the
I
thing
am
is, he's not
Groot.
exactly wrong.
Yeah, we all have
We
dead
all
people.
have dead people, you know?
You either live with it or you succumb to it. And, well, okay, to quote another favorite movie of mine, Drax either needs to crap or get off the pot.
Yeah. And, well, I have no idea what movie that's from, but weird.
Okay, I altered it and everything slightly. It's from Clerks.
I've never seen it, and I don't want to. Anyway,
You
um,
should. You
it's a,
should.
is that the Kevin Smith movies?
Yes.
Oh. Anyway, I have to be in the right. I have to be in the right
You need
mindset
to
for
watch.
them.
You need to watch it once.
Kevin Smith
You-
has rubbed me the wrong way to the point where I need to be in a specific mindset to watch his movies.
Do you need to be drunk?
No, I don't drink, but
Okay.
I just the fancy has to strike me, and it will be a random moment when it does. Let's
All
just say
right.
that.
Sounds good.
That's how I watched the Godfather movies. It's like, oh, fuck it, I'll just watch them. But anyway, when he that moment with Drax when he's finally admitting it's like my anger and my rage, it was basically a cover for my heartbreak and whatnot. That's good acting on Dave Bautista's behalf.
Part.
On his part, because that really does show that he can dig down, you know.
Yes, he can. A lot more
I
so
mean,
than John Cena.
as much as I hate Dave Bautista in real life, the man is a fucking psychopath and crazy. He's batshit crazy. He can act in in a few different moments. I'm not gonna, or I'll disagree slightly with Ambassador here. I don't think he is a great actor. I will, however, say he does have his moments.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
He does have his moments. I mean,
I think I agree with Orange Chat here too on Dave Bautista. With his acting and stuff. Yeah, he does have his moments. I like him as Drax.
and
I don't
yeah,
like him in other stuff, and I actually liked him. Fudge. I don't remember what the movie was. It was like, he was like a stepdad to like this little girl, and they were like doing spy stuff together. I'm like, I liked him in that. So yeah, those moments.
that was another movie that was recent, I do believe. But anyway, well, within the last 4 years. But yeah, that was a good moment there, and so they all decide to go save Quill. And Thanos is telling Ronan to bring the stone to him, but Ronan's like, well, now it's an Infinity Stone. What use do I have for you? Not exactly wrong. And then he makes his threat to Thanos. And Thanos is looking at him like, son of a bitch, things just got complicated.
Yeah, but the Man Titan
He's
always
probably
has
like,
an out.
really? Are you kidding me? Come on, bro.
Like you're real. Well, you also got to look at it from a more wider perspective. Thanos had an Infinity Stone, gambled with it, and lost. He had the Mind Stone. He gave it to Loki in hopes to gain 2 Infinity Stones. He bet 1 to gain 2, lost the bet. So,
yeah, the Tesseract and the Time Stone.
Yep, the Space Stone and Time Stone. Or no, Space Stone and Mind Stone. He was going to kill, his entire plan was to kill Loki after he retrieved the Tesseract.
Well,
he was not going to just he wanted all 6, so he's not going to just give away 1 in order to get the other. And we got another. Hey, Copa Catania, good to see you. How you doing? Popping in for a quick yo and smashing up some likes. Thank you so much,
Hello?
sir. Share the stream if you can, please. It does help. So we then see freaking Yondu bitching at Quill again. These boys wanted to eat you. And it's like,
blah, blah,
God,
blah,
man,
blah.
would you just shut up about that?
Yeah,
and he
I
calls
would have
him.
said,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, go ahead. Really?
All right, because he's like, oh my God, would you just stop it with that? Always telling people what hate me, and then I'm gonna misquote it, but anyway, he's like, and then expect somebody to be grateful for it. But it really is a great moment because it shows that Yondu may look like an angel, but he sure as hell ain't one. And I really do like that because Michael Rooker, a lot of people said he doesn't look that good. I'm like, no, but his acting is pretty fucking awesome.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I love Michael Rooker as an actor. He is a great freaking actor. A lot of people think he's not that good because he kind of looks funny. I'm like, I honestly think he's he's actually a pretty good actor when you give him the right shit.
Okay. Well, here's an incentive for you to watch a Kevin Smith movie. He was actually in the second one, Mallrats.
All right. He was actually also in Brightburn.
Never saw it.
The evil Superman kid thing.
Yeah, I heard that. Never saw it.
He was.
Who did he play?
He was in the credits as a YouTuber.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't watch the credits of that, so I guess.
Yeah, they show the kid freaking wreaking havoc all over around the world, or around Brightburn, actually, the town. And then he's reporting on it, and then he suddenly stops reporting on it because he doesn't want to piss off the kid. But yeah,
Makes sense.
so what did you all think of this scene where Quill basically bullshits his way out of this again? Kate, you've been awfully quiet for a while.
I didn't want to interrupt to talk over people, but it kind of like shows a deeper, or shows the relationship between Quill and him a little bit more, and the way that he's able to BS his way out of it. I think he learned that from being raised by the Ravagers, you know what I mean? Like, he probably had to get his way out of some situations, from thieving and, raiding and shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it was just kind of quippy and fun, and to tie on to what you guys were saying about Michael Rooker, I if given the right direction and script, I think he does a decent job on screen, and he has a huge fan base. Every time I see him at a convention, he's been to like 3 of the 8 conventions I've been to, and fans just love him because he's just personable, and he has fun doing what he's doing, you know what I mean?
If I ever meet Michael Rooker, I'm going to take a selfie. I'm not one to take selfies with people. I would just be happy enough to shake their hand. But if I ever took a selfie with Michael Rooker, I'd want him to say, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all."
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He has
I would like just hand him an umbrella and be like, "Hold this up."
And exactly right. Damn right, girl. But to answer Vanya here, why the hate for Dave? Dave Bautista, acting wise, he's okay. It's what he's like outside or off screen. He's literally, let's just say he has TDS to the degree of insanity. TDS 9000, let's just say that. So they agreed to go after the Power Stone, but also we got to get the message to Xandar and John C. Reilly coming in again. Now, I also haven't covered Glenn Close. It plays Nova Prime, folks.
Yeah, and she does a good
job. She does a wonderful job. Glenn Close, Glenn Close is a great freaking actress. She's been prevalent throughout the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. And she has always been a good actress in everything that I've seen her in. From The Natural, Fatal Attraction, Air Force One, to that, I can't remember the name of the show she was in, as well as Nova Prime. And John C. Reilly coming in to play with her, or play off her, was like, and I'm quoting him on this. not 100% a dick. Do you believe him? Well, I don't believe anybody's 100% a dick, ma'am. Seriously. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. And that also, I was watching this with my mom earlier, and that actually got her to chuckle a little bit. And she's like, about the plan. It's like, oh, yeah, I believe him. So.
Yeah, because he's like, okay, he's out for himself and stuff, but, like, even, somebody who gets into trouble, like, let's say, like a street thug or something in the United States, they don't want to see, like, the entire planet explode. You know what I mean? Like,
and his incentive was, it's like, we just broke out of prison. Why, or do you really think we don't really have anything to gain here by coming to you guys, but we're still doing it.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. It's like, yeah, we got arrested, but we don't want to see you dead. Yeah. And I love the plan. They're going to bust into Dark Aster, kill Ronan, and Rocket, in order for this plan to work, needs that, or this dude's eye.
And the guy's like, what?
And
I
like,
like
no,
that
no,
comes
no.
back around and, like,
Yeah.
Thor gets that eye. And you're like, what?
It's not that guy's eye.
No,
But
it's not the
it's a
same?
different eye. Yeah, because
Oh, I
this
thought
guy
it
has
was
a
the same.
fully. This dude has a fully mechanical eye that actually has something sticking out of it.
It looks like a mini Death Star, but with the Death Star beam having a barrel on it or something.
Yeah,
Kind
it
of.
yeah, it kind of does. But yeah, this dude's looking like, he please tell me he's joking. But yeah, Rocket won the eye that he stole from Contraxia and shoved it up his ass to get off of Contraxia. That's how Rocket got the eye that he gave
Good
Thor.
old prison pocket, or whatever they call it.
You're not wrong. That's actually what they call it. That's a prison pocket. Because how else do you survive, or how else do you pass strip searches? Because they make you open your mouth and they check underneath your tongue.
Barf.
Yeah. Anyway, back to normal talk. So we see, or we also get the thing between the Guardians where they learn to give a shit. And I love this. It's like, what percentage of a plan do you have? I don't know, 12%. 12%? That's a fake laugh. It's real. And what do we see? A bunch of losers. People who's lost things. But we've been given something. What have we been given? Or
the chance to give a crap.
The chance to give a shit, yeah. And I also like how Groot or Rocket finally is like, no, I don't have that short of or long of a lifespan anyway. Hey, standing up. Bunch of jackasses.
I like that the movie is not too serious that it can make fun of itself. Like that line is just kind of like,
yeah.
it has its superhero moment and then makes fun of its superhero moment.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing too. Here's one thing. I wish they had put this line in that scene. I guess it's going to sound incredibly infantile, incredibly childish, and very teenagerish, and I don't care.
Go ahead.
I wish Rocket or either Rocket or Quill, probably Rocket, said, "Yeah, we're all standing around in a circle jerk."
That would have been good. That would have been good.
A circle of jerks, because they're all jerks.
And then we get the Cherry Bomb song, which
Yep.
everybody loves.
Well, of course.
And I love how Groot buffs up with his sticks, and then plucks the one off of his face, like it's a zit.
He plucks the one little thing that might make him look just a little less intimidating.
Yeah.
It makes himself look intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, this is Groot's battle face.
Yeah, and it's like... And Vin Diesel, when he went to the premiere for the first one, he actually had twigs coming out of his suit.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't know
owned
that.
it. He was like, "Look, I came in and said, 3 words a bunch of different times, or 4 words, and
Yeah.
But he owned it. He was like, "Look, it's ridiculous, but let's do it."
Yep. And so we get to the main sequence. They finally get onto the ship, and Drax is apologizing and saying that they're all his friends, and even this green whore. And it's like, oh, you must stop. And I'm thinking to myself, thank you for finally saying that, Gamora. It really appreciates. Because it's like, Dave, dude, you're too literal to be too literal. But
And
then
she's
he
not even-
blasts,
Levels of literal we have not even seen.
right? And then he blasts Nebula when she comes in. And it's like, nobody talks to my friends like that. It's like,
Yeah,
you didn't even give her a chance to really get started.
Nope. He just
You've
shoots her.
always been weak. And that's when he lifted the thing to blast her, because she got a few more off, but boom, it's like, oh shit.
Yep. And that looks like a rocket launcher. That didn't look like the Hadron Enforcer, because Quill had the Hadron Enforcer.
Yeah, it was one of those rockets that from the prison.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so then we get the bigger fight with Korath or Korgath or whatever.
Korath.
Jaimin
Korath.
Hansu
Korath.
or Digimon.
Korath.
Yeah, Korath. And
all the Sicarian paper people.
Yeah.
Paper beats paper. Well, wait, no. Wood beats paper. Because
the
Groot is paper. Groot is tree.
Yep.
Groot is rock.
Groot is wood.
Wood rock.
There's no such thing as wood rock. Those are two things that, well, technically can coexist, but not in a very awkward.
Unless
It's
you're
a
like
wood
petrified.
stuck to a rock.
Or a tree growing out of a rock. I am rock Groot. And then he would just be one of
Korg people or whatever.
Yeah, Korg's people.
No, he turned out to be a. Oh yeah, you're talking about Groot. Never mind.
Yeah, but who do we like better? Do we like Groot or do we like Korg? I'm gonna go for Groot.
Yeah, I'm Groot. Team Groot all the way.
Groot.
Yeah, Korg, it just gets annoying after a while.
Yeah,
Korg
it does.
Unfortunately, Korg was kind of ruined because apparently the director and the actor who plays him doesn't even remember his own freaking origin from the first movie that he made with him.
Huh.
He
We'll
doesn't
get to that
understand continuity. It still makes me laugh that he went up to Natalie Portman and was like, "Hey, I'm directing a Star Wars movie. You want to be in it?" And she's like, "Been there."
Yeah.
Oh wait! What director was that? That was like
this was Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god! I remember that. I just didn't remember who it was.
I was like,
Okay,
bro, obviously you've never seen... She's like the mom of the Star Wars universe.
She's in the prequels. You never saw it.
You got something to say, Ambassador?
Yeah, I'm going to say this. Me and Mam Ambassador watched Love and Thunder not too long ago, and it was okay. Really low level okay. And I honestly, I really enjoyed Ragnarok. I really did. I'm not going to sit here on the line and say I didn't, because I did. But Love and Thunder it landed with a semi-thud. Because it was just too damn jovial.
Campy?
It was Taika Waititi keeping a promise. He said, "I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby."
And here's the thing. Look at Guardians of the Galaxy volumes 1, 2, and 3, and compare that to Thor: Love and Thunder. And even Guardians Volume 1 is in many ways far superior to Thor: Love and Thunder. And I am a very staunch fan of the MCU, but even I'll admit, Love and Thunder just landed with a thud, whereas Guardians Volume 1 just on its own.
It's because Love and Thunder, and I know you don't like hearing about this, but it's literally because Thor: Love and Thunder was pure agenda. That was it. It was pure fucking agenda. They wanted the gayness. They wanted all the freaking stupidity in it and identity politics in it. That movie pushed freaking child transgender ideology.
Either way,
that movie was pushing the whole gay stuff with it. The whole changing a queen into a king.
Either way.
And that's what happens when you overly inject shit. People will, or you got your main, or you are not, or first off, Ambassador, I do want to clarify something. You are not a general moviegoer. You have an objective mindset. You do have an objective way of looking at things. Yes, where then there's the general moviegoer who will go to watch a movie strictly because of the label on it.
To varying degrees, yes and no.
And those are the kind of movies, or those are the kind of moviegoers that movie was geared toward, because they said, we're slapping the Marvel logo on it. It's a Disney logo. Go watch it. And people fucking did. And people automatically enjoyed it because...
like that too.
Well, but here's the other thing.
I have friends who are like that, who are like, oh, it's Marvel, it's good, I'm going to go see it. And I'm like, okay, I understand, if you turn off your brain and you just want to go see a campy, bright color, action-y film, I'm sure you can find some enjoyment in Love and Thunder. I think Love and Thunder tried to be Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Because Guardians very much like we had just talked about, where he's like, we're standing in a circle, standing up like a bunch of, like a bunch of a-holes. It jokes, it mocks itself, and James Gunn does a good job of like putting these little things in where it's like serious scene and then like really funny scene afterwards. But he does it in such a way that it's not horrible. The Suicide Squad that he did, I would say it was much more enjoyable to watch than Suicide Squad.
Way more.
Yeah.
Way more. And it's not, we can dissect that movie on another day. It's not the best movie, but it was more enjoyable to watch than the previous Suicide Squad. And
Go ahead, Kate, sorry. No, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna finish off that he makes it fun to watch, and he doesn't completely like skewer the lore. And I think that's why people like James Gunn's, Guardians more than, previously mentioned movies.
And the other thing, and I'll say this briefly about the Suicide Squad, because I did do a review of it. I did watch it, but I didn't go to theaters and watch it, because I was like, I can wait for it on HBO Max, which is where I watched it at.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a diehard DC fan. Marvel is my home.
Yeah.
I spent 2 or 3 hours at a comic book shop looking through nothing but Marvel comics, picking out ones I wanted. That's how much of a Marvel fan I am. But the Suicide Squad movie by James Gunn was deeply enjoyable. And I think it sticks to the idea of the team. And they had a good cast. You had Idris Elba, you had Michael Rooker in a cameo, you had
Margot Robbie
as Harley Quinn, and she was good. I'd say she was a better Harley Quinn in this than what she was in the other movies where she played Harley Quinn. But that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done.
But back to the point of Taika Waititi and James Gunn. They both do a self-deprecating humor, with their
Yes.
movies.
Yep.
James Gunn has self-deprecating humor down. He has it down to an
Yes.
art. Where
Yes, he
Taika
does.
Waititi, he tends to go overboard, and that is
And
his
how?
main problem. Now, I'm actually saying that in a respectful manner about Taika Waititi because, believe it or not, and when I say I have very little respect for the man, that's about as far as my respect will go. James Gunn directed this movie to the point where you have some of the best freaking jokes. You have some that are not as good, but they still work. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the guy comes, or when the Nova Corps goes up to do their net thing, the guy's like, for the record, I was against trusting you on this. They got my dick message. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
I
And,
wonder
and
how many of those were like impromptu from
The actors themselves.
yeah, because I know
Wouldn't
that
surprise
when
me.
he played Andy on Parks and Rec, he would
Yep.
just say certain jokes off the cuff, and the writers would go, "That was the best joke in the show," and it makes me mad as a writer because he just came up with that on the spot. So I wonder how much like the actors got to play with those scenes, and you know, if we'll ever get some like behind the scenes, like, you know, here's the
I
scripted
wouldn't-
one and then here's the off the cuff one. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of improv. So
Well, yeah. I mean, the best jokes often do involve improvisation.
yes,
and
they do.
This movie had so many jokes in it that I'm almost wondering, could they have improved or improved like maybe 30% of it?
They
I
might
wouldn't be
have.
surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I
at
mean,
all
for
if they
heaven's
did.
sakes, from what I understand, the Ocean's movies, the ones with George Clooney and all them, a good chunk of all three of those were improvisation, especially Ocean's 12.
Yeah.
But
So
back to Guardians because we're getting towards the end here.
we got Korath killed with finger to the throat, and then he rips off the mechanical bit. Now, for people who don't or know, because Korath does return
Yep.
in the past because he's a
Yep.
Kree,
Yep.
and we'll see him again in Captain Marvel.
Yep.
I do like the moment where, again, Groot slaughters a bunch of these guys by stabbing into them and just smacking them side to side. And you see Star-Lord looking back at Drax, and Drax is like, yeah, this is awesome. And it's like,
he's doing all the work for us.
Yeah, and then Groot pulls out and
retracts.
Yeah, better word, retracts. And
retracts his arm.
He looks back at him with this big childish shit-eating grin, and it's like, just, it really.
Did I do good?
Super cute.
Did I do good?
He's like looking for approval. Yeah.
I did good.
I did violence good. Look at
you. Right, yeah. Thumbs up on violence.
And then you see Ronan, who has joined the Power Stone to his hammer.
Yep.
And this moment was freaking great because this is a true Ronan moment. Xandar, you stand accused. When he wipes out the Nova Corps.
Yeah. Well, yep.
And it's like, oh shit, dude. You stand accused. And then he just blasts them, and it's like, yeah, something tells me that
badass villain moment for sure.
Yeah, that was truly the most badass villain moment in this movie, aside from the Thanos reveal. And then they all get in finally after Nebula finally kicks her sister out of the house or out of the ship. And they blast him with
Says
a
this is the last time you steal my clothes. No,
So they blast him with the Hadron Enforcer, and it's like, you did it.
And then they see him, and they're like, oh crap.
No,
not good.
Yeah, he gives them a small blast with the gravity hammer, but with a little bit of infinity juice mixed in. But when Rocket flies in with that horrifying look on his face of pure terror, I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, man, did I just shit myself in another time? Because
Yeah, it's just
that
like,
was
yeah, like,
scary.
hey, like peas pants.
That was
I don't blame him.
scary.
That
Freaking
was
rabid
that was
raccoon coming in.
Kitty, kitty.
You're talking to the cat in your house, right? Because we're talking about.
Yeah, yes, I am.
Because
She walked in.
yeah.
that was horrifically that was a horrifically awesome moment.
Oh yeah. I mean, folks, when you see Rocket in pure slaughtering glee, his face looks the most monstrous.
Oh yeah.
That's
Which is
when he's at his
cool.
happiest.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
cool.
which
It
is
really
cool
is.
because like you get Groot who just like kills like 4 people and then is like, oh yay, I did good, and then you get Rocket who's like bloodthirsty, who's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm ready for this stuff,
He's
and
like
Do
a
it
kid in a
again.
candy store.
right,
Oh,
and we've
yeah.
already seen Gamora like beat the crap out of people and like not give a shit, you
Yep.
know. And you know, eventually we'll get Peter Quill who's you know, willing to kill for Gamora and whatnot. But like they each have their, because they're kind of anti-hero, we
Mhm.
get that like grittier killing
Yeah.
side that we
Yeah.
haven't
Oh, yeah.
gotten with like the Avengers. You know what I mean?
No, before we get to Groot's sacrifice, we passed over Yondu's best moment.
Oh,
Because
yes.
Yondu got shot down before he could crash in on him, and or crash into the ship with him, and the Sakarans are all like, "Order your men to turn on the Nova Corps." And it's like he just starts whistling, and his arrow starts twirling, then starts slaughtering everybody, going through one of those ships and everything. Then it catches
the
it, and it's
necro-
like 30 people drop in less than 10 seconds.
Okay,
And I'm like,
his other really good moment. This is back earlier in the film. When
yeah.
he's there with the broker, and he's like, the
Yep.
broker's like, the High Committee, a boobly
Boodity,
boobly,
boodity,
a
boodity,
boodly
boo.
boodly boodly, a
Yeah.
boodly boodly. Anyway, okay, moving on.
But when it's like, I see that and I'm like, please, God, don't let somebody like that exist. It's like, if somebody with that power, which is actually exclusive to the MCU, because in the comics, he is a bow and arrow kind of guy
Yes.
with a magic arrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
That
like,
never misses.
that never misses, yeah. But it's whistle while you kill is kind of a nice twist to it.
Whistle while you kill.
Because it's like taking a stroll through a park, you know,
Yeah.
whistling, and then like meanwhile all of these people are dropping dead in the background. You know?
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that could be Yondu on a bad day.
Right.
Oh. Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, don't ever let somebody like this exist, except for on movies. Because, holy crap, that's scary.
But also
And-
at the same time, awesome.
Yeah, indeed. So then let's get the Groot sacrifice, where he becomes a living orb of wood and twig and
Leaf.
Leaf, and we get this moment teared my eyes, folks.
If you didn't get
are
teary eyed,
Groot.
there is something
Yeah.
wrong with
We
you.
are Groot, yeah.
Yep.
It was like
No, no.
E.T., but I wasn't looking at a monstrosity this time.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like a weird puppet that gave you
Yeah.
nightmares.
I'm sorry. I was afraid of E.T. as a child. I won't
Yeah.
admit that.
How can you be afraid of ET?
He was
Look
frightening.
at
He
him!
was
Yeah,
creepy
I
looking
have.
if you're a little kid.
Look at him. He's like
I
he's
watched
like
ET as a little kid. He was not scary at all.
I
Oh,
watched
when
him
I
as a
was
little kid, and
3,
he
I
was
was like,
a little
oh,
bit
God.
fucked up in the head.
You pack of wimps.
Anyway.
It was terrifying. On the ET ride, I just covered my eyes the whole time because I didn't want to see him. I had nightmares he would eat my face off. He's ugly. I'm sorry. He might be adorable. He might be adorable in personality, but he's really, really ugly. He's scary.
So, we then get the Aster finally crashing to the ground.
This asshole.
And
Yes, I said it. He's an asshole.
this turd blossom comes out with
Awesome.
The turd blossom.
saying it's like, here are your guardians of the galaxy, and he just flicks aside a rocket with the hammer. I do. It's like, you killed
Ouch.
Groot. Yeah, fuck off. I don't care about you. Flip. Or he just flicks him with the hammer. And Quill, this is where it's like, I'm almost embarrassed to watch this moment. I wish I could skip over it.
But you
Because
can't.
I know.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's great.
it's like,
great.
oh my god, this is just so wrong.
Saving
he's
a
doing
planet
the
through the
dance song.
power of bad dancing.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Dance
What
off.
are you doing? What does it look like, you big turd blossom? I'm distracting you. Because Rocket and
Yeah, it's just like-
Rocket and Drax are
Dance.
rebuilding the Hadron Enforcer. Now, this moment where we get the Infinity or the Power Stone, Ronan was
man.
originally excited because he's like, "Oh my God, my will is done, even though I can't do it myself."
Nope.
And then when he looks to see Gamora saying, "Take my hand," he sees his mom. This time, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't turn away. He immediately does it because he wishes he could have all those years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that was very emotional scene. Like, it's a payoff of, the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
It's just
Yeah,
like,
it came full circle, and he was able to like grow and kind of,
Yeah.
It
deal
really
with his
was.
grief.
Well,
And
the other
then
thing
you
is
see-
that background was deliberate because that's him tapping into. That's the Power Stone tapping into his celestial side.
Yep.
Yeah,
And a lot of people have actually said, what was that background all about? Because you never see it again. And it's like, he's a celestial. And you're
Half.
seeing a celestial body. Or you're seeing a celestial or kind of background, a kind of magical background that is unique. Which is what he is.
Mhm.
And even Power Stone, all of them, Power Stone Drax, Power Stone Gamora, and Power Stone Rocket. And they have the music then suddenly shift
Oh man.
to it. And it's like, you're mortal. How? Said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians,
Guardians
of
of
the
the Galaxy.
yeah.
Now, if you
Great.
look at the trailer, they don't have the they don't have his Power Stone face on. They actually they save that for the movie itself, where his face is all cracked and purple-eyed.
Yeah.
They actually took that out of the trailer. They only show the unfinished effects there. And then, well, we see Ronan get folded.
You mean
Before he gets-
disintegrated?
Separated, folded, and all sorts of different twisted in every which way but loose.
he did.
Yeah, he did.
He got
And,
disintegrated, and there was much rejoicing.
That
Pretty
boy,
much, yeah.
that boy dead as mud.
And then they cover it with their own fashioned orbs for it, and well, you think everything's gonna be all right, except that
Yondu
Yondu
shows.
finally comes back in.
Yep.
I may look like an angel, but I sure as hell ain't one. And it's like,
I was like, you take a look in the mirror.
yeah, man. And I love the switch out on Yondu.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's pulling away, yeah, he was all right. Thank God we didn't take him to his dad. Yeah, that guy was a jackass. I wish I could find a clip of that on YouTube because I wanted to turn it into a gift. That guy was a jackass.
You probably could.
I tried. I couldn't find the clip of it.
I'll see if I can find it for you.
Yes, please do.
I have a
The little
talent for
troll
this sort of
doll
thing.
just made my.
Yeah,
day.
because
Oh
Opens it
man.
up.
he has
I got
a
it.
fixation with those things. He has a fixation with. You got what? You found it? The clip?
Yep.
Put it
Send
in
it
the
to my
chat.
Twitter or send it to the group chat and Twitter, please.
Great.
love
Here's
that.
guys a copyright.
Yeah,
Riot,
definitely.
way to go.
Send that to Riot. Send that to the group chat and Twitter, please.
Okay, I will.
Because I am going to make that a GIF after we're done here tonight.
Basically, I just searched like the exact quote. It's like that. I searched Guardians of the Galaxy. That guy was a dick.
I searched that and it didn't come up. That must be
Oh,
a
no.
fucking recent video.
YouTube
Man.
Your
hates me,
search
apparently.
bubble just is like, nah.
It hates me.
It probably does.
But I have a Giphy and image flip, and I create like millions of GIF or thousands of GIFs that honestly hasn't been made, and it's criminal that many of the GIFs that I've made haven't been made before I made them. You know. But anyway, we find out that Quill is half Terran and half something very ancient.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, what? We don't know. So we're going to have to wait for the second one to find out.
Yep.
And then we get the rebuilt ship that's no longer the Milano, but it's now known as the Benatar. Another great name.
Yep.
From another hot 80s personality.
I'm waiting for the Joan Jet.
That would probably be the
that'd
third
be great.
ship. But yeah. What if I want something and somebody else owns it? That'd be stealing. That's also illegal. They expunged the records, and also my family's alive because of you. Because we see those two that pink woman and her daughter
Purple.
who are about to get dive bombed, but Rocket saves them. So yeah, he has a family, and we learned that the pink people were Denarian Day's wife and child.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's like, aw, cute little family moment there. And we see that Groot is now
Baby.
sprouting out of the
It's a baby Groot.
replanted twig.
Yep.
Okay,
He
he's more
just needs
infant
some
Groot.
fertilizer.
He's infant
He's
Groot.
more of a sprout or infant. Yeah, he's more infant
Yeah, he's
right now.
infant Groot. He's baby Groot in Volume 2.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's referred to as.
Little
Well,
Baby
actually,
Well,
I'd call
infant,
him.
baby, potato.
I'd call him Baby Groot in the credit sequence because he's more grown in that sequence too. Because he's
Yeah.
very small when he wakes up, but when he's dancing to frickin' Michael Jackson, you see that he's very much grown thicker to that point.
Yeah, but he's still an infant.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway.
Okay, newborn Groot. How about that?
Yeah, and then we get our credit sequence at the end.
Yep.
Where we can't go there yet. We see a present that he hasn't opened earlier in the film.
Oh man.
And when he finally reads the note from his mom, and you find out where he got his Star-Lord idea, it was something he thought he came up with himself, except that his mom called him in her last letter to him.
Yeah, but he did read that letter until now, so she obviously called him that.
Probably before, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he plays his Awesome Mix Volume 2.
2.
That he never heard before. And I do like how they managed to, or they show Gamora, because while they were on Nowhere, she listens to some of the music, and then she stops, and I'm not going to fall for your pelvic sorcery.
Sorcery.
Yeah, I remember that. She specifically said sorcery.
Yeah, pelvic
I'm not some
sorcery.
starry-eyed waif.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, they learn about the hero of Kevin Bacon in Footloose. And they crash into the ship. We're just like Kevin Bacon. Like, don't ever bring that up again. Which they end up doing in Infinity War. But we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, I thought that was a nice moment. However, I'm going to need somebody to freaking go back and check. I do believe that there is an inconsistency error where if you look at the first shot of the box when Rocket sees it and go to Quill going back to it to open it up, it's different wrapping paper, I do believe.
No, it was the same.
It was?
Yeah, it was
Oh.
the same.
All right, well then. Maybe.
It might have been just flipped over.
Yeah.
But it was the same.
And I'm sorry, Vanya, I hadn't been paying attention to this. You have a chord guitar tuner. Cool.
Huh.
Well,
I didn't realize they made guitar tuners for Marvel, but that's cool.
that is pretty cool. Dude, show that on Facebook. Or Twitter even. So we then get to the credits. They go through the credits. And we get to the dog, Cosmo, going up to kiss the collector, who's still alive, mind you.
Yep.
And he's like, you hear off screen, why do you let him kiss you like that? Gross.
And
And then it's freaking Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Chain smoker or something.
I mean, folks.
No, he's drinking.
Yeah, he takes a sip of galactic margarita too, and it's like, kind of birds going down.
Well, no, I mean he sounds like a chain smoker.
Yeah, he does kind of sound like it. He does,
Yeah,
really,
he does,
doesn't
but
it?
that's
It's
how.
Seth Green from Buffy and Angel.
Just
yeah.
Buffy, not Angel. He was ever an angel.
He was in Angel like one episode.
A duck
Okay,
angel.
maybe.
But anyway,
No, Angel, the spin-off series of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yeah.
Okay.
So this would have seriously been a great moment is when after they showed Howard the Duck and they transferred to Howard the Duck was created by yada yada. If you would have heard just like an echo of the Howard the Duck song, would have been perfect.
Oh man, yes. Howard the
I
Duck.
do not understand the obsession with Howard the Duck, but okay.
It's a cult classic. It's the most twisted 80s cult classic ever.
You think?
You got to be from the 80s to understand.
And obviously,
I guess I'll never understand it.
You will not.
You're 15 years too late from that one, girl.
Yeah. Only me, Orange,
What
and
year did it
Kate.
come out?
85.
Yep, 15 years too late.
It came out 2 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. My parents are teenagers, so.
And when George Lucas's parents asked him, what the hell you were thinking with Howard the Duck? I was going through a phase.
Really?
A phase?
No, but that's how I imagine that conversation going down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Everybody's asked George Lucas, what were you thinking with Howard the Duck? I was going through a phase at the time.
That's how I think of like the logic with All-Star Batman. It's like, I was going through a phase, Mom.
But, yeah.
All-Star Batman? What's All-Star Batman? Do I even want to know?
I mean, I've heard of All-Star Superman, but...
Or like, I'm pretty sure it's called All-Star Batman, but it's like Batman and Robin, and then I guess Batman. I guess one of the highlights is Batman and Black Canary beat up some bad guys, and then they set them on fire, and then they do the dirty right there and then.
Holy
shit!
What?
I'm not kidding.
Okay, before we get off on another tangent, let's put a bow on Guardians. Let's do scores.
Yeah, let's do some scores.
Then we can tangent.
Riot, before you do the dirty with Batman, how would you score Guardians?
Oh my okay, well, look, I score it probably 8.5 out of 10. It's a very fun movie, and
Heretic.
What?
I don't know. That's just my word.
I am not sure. Okay.
Anyway,
well, yeah,
8.5?
I'd score 8.5 out of 10. There's I do think there are a few consistency issues and like stuff like that, but yeah, overall it's a very fun, enjoyable ride, and they strike the chord between serious and funny very well in the movie. So,
all right, Ambassador.
Guardians, it's a 9, a flat 9, because there may be some few tweaks here and there that could have made it better, but it's a solid 9 because it is just an absolutely enjoyable movie. You can rewatch the sucker over and over, and it never gets old. It's 2 hours of hilarity and heartfelt emotion, and a giant walking tree being goofy and silly at the same time, being the crap out of paper people, and then saving his friends and saying probably one of the greatest lines in the history of the MCU: "We are Groot.
Yeah.
We are family."
Yep. All right, Kate.
I would say 8 out of 10. There are, yeah, it's not the perfect movie, but as Ambassador said, the rewatchability is A plus. I think it really stands the test of, like kind of looking back from what phase we are in now, with MCU. Going back and rewatching it still holds and it's still enjoyable. There are a few things here and there that they could have tweaked. So yeah, I would say 8 out of 10. But if we're just judging on watchability, 9, 10 out of 10. But yeah, if we're talking about movie critique, I would go 8 out of 10.
All right. As for me, I do 3-tier, which is objective, subjective, and moviegoer. Objectively, this film, again, yeah, Mariah Kitty is more on the dot with inconsistency. A couple of special effects that could have been handled a little bit better. Thanos, as a full digital character, they really do improve in Infinity War, but Thanos in this one is very much digital, and it's not the best digital. As much as I love that scene, it really does show that they had work or room to improve. So I would say that this is more of a 8 to an 8.5 objectively. Subjectively, this movie is about a 9. I enjoyed it. It had the right mix of humor, seriousness, and heartbreak, emotion, and whatnot. It really does tug at the strings. It takes you on an emotional roller coaster of a ride, which is fun. And when I say that it's a 2-hour gag reel, it's a 2-hour gag reel. It really is a fun movie to watch. So, moviegoer, based on entertainment value alone, this movie is a 10 out of 10. It keeps you engaged. It doesn't make you check the time. It keeps your ass in your seat, laughing and busting stitches in your gut.
And crying.
And crying, too. So, yeah, folks, that's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got Age of Ultron coming next week.
I think Volume 2 is my favorite. I'm going to be honest.
All right. So, Age of Ultron, the thumbnail is a little bit more. Well, actually, I'll show you guys the thumbnail. Let me pull it up.
Let's see it. Sneak peek.
Show us now.
Show us the thumbnail.
Let's see here.
We want to see thumbnail now.
Thumbnail now.
Thumbnail now.
Thumbnail now.
Thumbnail.
All right, hold your panties.
I'm not wearing panties.
Or are you?
That's what she said.
I am.
I don't want to know that. And no, I'm not. I don't think I'm a girl. I'm a dude, and dudes don't wear panties.
Now, the gray is obviously for metallic. The blue is for the drones, and the red is for the eyes. However, the yellow has an infinity stone in this movie that is yellow.
The mind stone.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I did the color scheme this way, folks. If there's an infinity stone in the film, the haze of the back of the letters will be the color of the infinity stone when it's a singular movie.
I was like, are you going to be all rainbow when it's...
I don't... Well, that's what Infinity here has
yeah.
with the rainbow. So when we get to Infinity War... I'm most likely going to be doing gold tones for Thanos, or purple and gold for Thanos's color scheme.
Gauntlet.
No,
Well,
purple.
I did share the special scene I told you guys about,
Good.
and
Thank you so much.
also
Because
the
I'm going to be
Jackass
turning
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be turning that into a GIFs soon. So that is the stream, folks. Thank you to Vanya, Copacatania, Miss Martin Muses, Andrew Coatsworth, and, well, myself, I guess, in the chat.
Yep.
And to anybody else who may have come through and whatnot. Thank you to Riot, Kate, and Ambassador
Blah.
for coming in. And C.S. Johnson,
Blah.
you're fired. I'm just kidding. You're not fired. But she's with family, so probably understandable that she's with family right now.
Okay.
Anyway, folks, so tune in next week, and we will be wrapping up Phase 2 with Age of Ultron.
Dun dun
So, yeah.
dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Damn.
God, I remember so much of the hype for that movie.
So do
Anyway.
I
I.
love the
Same.
song from it.
Yeah.
Like the promo song is like, there are those strings on the beat.
I
You do know what
honestly
movie
lived
that's
for
from,
that
right?
song because it was. I was like, ooh, it's dark and sinister, and the
Yeah.
hype was real, and the trailer like gave me goosebumps, and the song,
Yes, it did.
definitely hit it.
And then the movie comes out and it's like, well, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah,
we'll get to it
yeah,
when we
yeah,
get to
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We
All
don't want to ruin
right.
it.
Well,
The movie is not that bad.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. But we'll get to
No,
it.
it didn't
I
live
like
up to the
it.
hype.
We'll
though.
get to it when we get to it. We don't
right,
want to
all right.
discuss it now. Anyway,
right.
folks, thank you so much
Gosh.
for tuning in. This has been Orange Hat and the Hat Crew of the Galaxy. Have a wonderful night. And
Bye.
always remember, stay humble.
Yeah,
Good
folks.
Bye.